count that high.
Nick Dahl is 17.
17, I don't know by sight, but I know all the rest of them, so it'll just be the other one.
Yeah, I mean, he's been honestly been one of the best performers all year.
Welcome to McKellar Park, home of Belconnen United Football Club for the PS4 NPL Grand Final. It's Canberra Olympic versus Belconnen United. It's the big one. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator for the match this afternoon. Joining me, as always, is Steve Forshaw. Steve, first of all, congratulations for your boys this morning. NPL 18 team winning 1-0 in your Grand Final, winning the double. Well done to you and your boys there.
Thank you. The boys have worked really hard all year, and they got the just desserts. That they played very well and got a good result.
They certainly did. They were fought hard to win that one. We also saw there in the NPL 20s, Belconnen United got up in that as well, 3-0. Good result for them. Here we are, though, for the big one. Can they make it a trifecta?
Well, the pressure's on the first team, isn't it, to make it 3 out of 3. There is no doubt that Belconnen's first team is capable of it, but they're playing against the minor premiers, and they're not minor premiers without good reason. And they've got bags of quality, but I'm expecting a really tight and close game.
I mentioned it in the 20s commentary. We're looking at the players warming up now. The field looks a bit rough from up here, but it's just that couch grass yellow at the moment, isn't it? And it'll be perfectly fine for playing on this afternoon. No bobbles or anything like that.
The surface is absolutely immaculate. It's just died off a little bit, and it's got a great grass cover, and the players will be looking forward very much to playing on a surface like this.
Fair to say that we've got the two best teams in the competition, outside of the FFA Centre of Excellence, of course, who finished above Belconnen but weren't eligible for finals. These are the two best teams that we've got in Canberra at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's right. Both teams, certainly from Belconnen's point of view, the second half of the season, they've been in great form. And Olympic, right from the get-go, apart from the loss against Canberra FC, have been the benchmark. So they finish first. Belconnen fall into that second position, or the double chance position, as a result, as you say, of the Centre of Excellence coming out. So the two best teams in the grand final, and that's the way you want it.
3 matches between these teams already this season. It's a fair amount of drama in all 3 of those games. The first one in round 4 on the 30th of April, Canberra Olympic won by 4 goals to 3, but it's quite a remarkable match in which Olympic scored 3 times in the last 10 minutes, and Belconnen scored twice in the last 6 minutes of stoppage time as well. It was a bizarre old game, that one, with literally all 7 goals coming in the last 25 minutes of the match.
Yeah, and you can say something similar about the second game at McKellar. But Belconnen had put themselves into a winning position. They'd gone ahead in that game. There was a sort of mistake made by the young keeper, Finn Jurek, who since then has not put a foot wrong, and that allowed the equaliser. Olympic went 3-1 up after equalising, and then Belconnen got it back to 3-2. Then it was 4-2, 4-3. So, you know, if that's an indication of what we might see today, we're in for a great game.
Yeah, looking back at that round 13 game, it was a goal from Stephen Dominici, his second of the day, 4 minutes from time, that gave them a 2-1 here at McKellar Park in another tight game. And of course, they met in the qualification final as well, and it finished 2-2 after extra time, thanks to a goal from Jason Ugrinic 2 minutes from time in that one, and Belconnen won on penalties. So plenty of goals, plenty of talking points in those games. We expect much the same today.
I think we will certainly get goals, but I think that the game will start off a little bit cagey. I think both teams will try and establish some sort of dominance. Chances will be at a premium, I think, in the first 20 minutes, and it's going to be those that are capable of capitalising on the chances they create that will actually go on and win the game. At the moment, penalties have played a big part in the games between these two teams. The Olympic got one in the game at O'Connor. They got another one at McKellar. Belconnen equalised late in the game in the semi-final with a penalty. So I think both defences are going to be on their toes and hoping not to concede silly free kicks in and around the penalty box.
We were together in the commentary box last week to watch Canberra Olympic get to this stage with a 2-0 win against Gungahlin United. Gungahlin had a lot of ball in that game. They didn't push Olympic too much, though. How much of that would have taken out of this side this afternoon? And is it an advantage for Belconnen that they had a week off?
It's a two-edged sword. It can work for you, it can work against you. Olympic, I'm sure, having lost Phil Yarnell through injury, might be thinking that it's not working to their advantage at the moment. But Belconnen having the week off might be saying the same thing. Whether they go in as sharp as they might have done had they had that extra game. The one telling factor that might come into play, and I don't expect it to have too much of an impact, is the fact that Olympic have also had the game against Newcastle in midweek before they played last week's semi-final. And they were under the pump last week against Gungahlin. Even though they've run out 2-0 winners, Gungahlin weren't that far behind them.
We're going to look at the teams in just a moment. I want to have a quick chat, though, about the coaches. Dean Ugrinnick, this is his fourth grand final. He's had one win from those, a couple of grand finals with Belconnen, and, of course, the remarkable 8-5 match a few years ago with Olympic. Frank Casey, this is his third grand final as well. They've won 2 in a row. They're looking for a three-peat. How much importance do you place on those two coaches and their tactics this afternoon?
Absolutely vital. Absolutely vital. Both very experienced, both very good at their jobs. And it's really about getting the best out of their respective 11s. Frank, of course, is on the crest of a wave of the trophies that can be won over the last couple of years. They've won them all. And as you say, they're going for a three-peat, and it's a treble if they can win today. Belconnen have been in a bit of a rebuilding phase over the last couple of years since they won it a couple of years ago under Dean Ugrinnick at Deakin Stadium. But they've Dean, very astute, knows exactly what's required, and I think his tactical awareness is going to play a big part in how Belconnen shape up today.
I don't think anyone with the Belconnen persuasion will hold it against us, and Dean has mentioned himself a lot of times this season. At the start of the year, when he looked at the squad that he had, they wouldn't expect it to get this far at the moment in comparison to, let's say, the depth that Olympic have got in their squad.
I think that's probably right. I think that's a fair assessment. There is no doubt that if you looked at the first half of the season, I think Belconnen lost 4 games. That makes it very difficult to recover from, and it was the second half of the season with the inclusion of 1 or 2 younger players to the club that turned the season around. Certainly the inclusion of Daniel Fabrizio up front has made a big difference to them.
Well, he'll have to score some goals this afternoon. Of course, they're missing a few players. Phil Bourgeot is at a wedding today, I understand. He was a best man, I think, or something like that at his best mate's wedding, so he's not here. Michael Tarazi's injured, and Leo Marzi is suspended for Belconnen. There's some players missing from Olympic as well. Phil Yarnold did his knee in training on Tuesday, the experienced defender, so he misses this match. Nick Bobolas has been out for a few weeks. Cal Smith has obviously been injured for a while, and we're hearing some fairly dramatic news before the kickoff of Victor Yanes, who was supposed to play centre-back today, has been called away. He works with the AFB. He's been called away. He can't be here today. So they've had to reshuffle at the last minute. We'll talk about their lineup in a moment, but having set yourself up during the week thinking this is what we're going to do, especially in a defensive position, how much of a problem will that be?
Well, I think it's a major issue that they've got to overcome. The players they brought in are capable of doing the job, but it's a distraction you could do without. Certainly they would have expected Phil Yarnold to play. He's been a mainstay of their back four. I mean, he has had injuries this season, but when he's played, he's certainly one of the solid defenders. The loss of Nicky Bobolas as well means that their natural central defensive pairing is now missing. But Bernie Renee comes in. Magic played there for the latter part of the game last week, so it's not as if they can't play those roles, but I think it's advantage Belconnen with that sort of disruption. Especially
the one with Victor Yanes. He was here, he was ready to go, and then he's been called away. Your referee today is Luke Withell. Huge amount of experience for Luke Withell. Greg Taylor is on the line with Owen Goldrick, and Bruno Kell will be our fourth official. Belconnen United there in the tunnel with skipper Taylor Beaton at the front. We'll just have a look at their team to start with, seeing as though they're there, Steve. Finn Durak will play in goal. Zach Mabry, Isaac Clements, Matt Gerderbischer and Cameron Reinhardt across the back, their usual back four. Midfield three of Nicholas Dahl, Taylor Beaton and Goran Murkewski. We're expecting the former two to be the holders there and Murkewski to roam a little bit, freeing up Dustin Wells in the number 10 role behind Daniel Fabrizio and Jason Ugrinnick.
Yeah, it looks from that lineup that Belconnen are going to start with a diamond in midfield and allowing Dustin Wells to be at the point of that diamond. And Dustin Wells' creativity is going to have a huge impact on this game. probably not been Dustin's greatest season, but he is a big game player, and if he's going to turn it on at all, it'll be today.
Yeah, lots of experience in that team with the likes of Zach Mabry, Gerbisher, Reinhardt, Beaton, Wells, Ugrinik all played in grand finals before. Canberra Olympic, who are playing the dark shirts today, they'll be led out by their skipper Angelo Constantinou. He's the goalkeeper as the teams walk out onto the field of play. Their back four sees Tim Bobolas, Nathan Medjic, Bernard Brené and young Adrian Makor at left back. Daniel Colbertaldo, Tom McLaughlin in the holding midfield roles, Robbie Catanach at the point of their triangle there. Josh Gillespie, Stephen Dominici and Jeremy Habtemariam along the front line. Plenty of goals in that lineup, Steve. Plenty of quality as well, despite the disruption at the back.
Yeah, and they're at the best going forward anyway. It's not the defence that's won them the trophies over the last few seasons. It's the creativity of Catanach, the holding and the metronomic performances of Colbertaldo, and of course Dominici this season, who's bagged a heap of goals. So they've got plenty of firepower. Even if they do go behind, you wouldn't write them off.
Yeah, 28 goals for Stephen Dominici this season. He's the leading goal scorer for Canberra Olympic, followed by Josh Gillespie and Jeremy Habtemariam with 6 each. So quite a reliance on Dominici there. Very similar story for Belconnen. Jason Ugrinik with 22 goals, followed by Justin Wells with 6 and Isaac Clements with 5. Looking at the two benches, which I'm sure will come into play a little bit later on, Olympic have a lot more experience. They have Michael Reeve, Jordan Sekenis, Michael John, Jack Petit, the reserve team goalkeeper, and Dimitri Pescados, who we saw in the under-20s grand final. He's dropped in onto the bench because Makor's gone into the lineup. Against Belconnen, who've got Sam Smith, Sam Whittier, Adam Glazier, Tom Costantini and Ben Jackson, 4 of which played in the under-20 finals just before this.
Yeah, and I think both benches will play a role. I think you're 100% correct in that. Sam Smith, of course, came off the bench to score the winner against Olympic from the penalty spot last time. The starting 11s are obviously what the coaches are relying on to get the job done, but it's a squad game, and there's no doubt that Belconnen and Olympic will be looking to their bench if they need to change things.
It's a perfect day here. There's a slight wind going across the field, but it's very minimal. The sun's out. The shadows of the main stand are encroaching across the field here. This main stand that we're in is fairly full. On the far side, there's some people going around to the bleachers around there. I'm quite excited about this one, Steve. We're expecting a good game.
It's been a long time coming. I was saying to you off air that in January, September seems a long way away, but then when you get to September, it seems to have flown by. This is what it's all about. People have played to get to this day. Both teams will be excited. We're excited. Let's hope we get a great game.
And before we kick off, I'm going to put you on the spot. The question is, Steve, who wins?
Well, my heart obviously says Belconnen, given that my loyalties lie with that particular club, but this is a really, really difficult task. Both teams are capable of winning it. I thought in the semi-final, Belconnen shaded and deserved to win, and if they can do it again, they'll do the same again today.
Well, we're pretty excited to start here. It's going to be Belconnen United in their light blue shirts, and Dustin Wells, who's been here and done it many times before, he'll get the game underway. Just get the feeling, as you said, he's had a quiet season, and we expect him to explode into action. It wouldn't surprise you if he came up with something special today. No, it wouldn't. I mean, he's just capable of winning games off his own boots. He's a very, very special player. He's been a tremendous servant to Belconnen, and if he is, like I was saying before, if he is going to turn it on, now's the time to do it. And at the front of your picture there, you see Stephen Dominici wearing the number 10 for Canberra Olympic. Same story for him, really. You think he's got something in his locker today. He's scored plenty of goals this season, and you wouldn't be surprised if he pops up with the crucial one this afternoon. He's the sort of player that can be almost anonymous for a long part of the game and then pop up with a winner. We're just waiting for the referee to get us underway, and Dustin Wells says, let's go. That ball's not gone outside the centre circle, so we're going to full start, so they say. So we'll go again. Robbie Cannon still in his half, and bizarre start to the game. Stuttering start, but off we go. Off we go. Isaac Clements at the back with Matt Gerbisher. That will have to be on form today. And here's Durack under pressure already from Dominici. And that's sent forward on the volley by Makor. Big ask of him as well. Young lad coming in and just dropped into it at the last minute. I'm sure during the week he would have been hoping to get a run at some stage today, but here he is from the start. Yeah, and it's probably helped him in terms of nerves that he didn't know that he was starting until the last minute. Here's Rene. Looking for Gillespie. Whistle goes. There was a late challenge from Daniel Fabrizio. I understand he rolled up a few of the Olympic boys with his celebrations at the end of the penalty shootout last week. That nice bit of niggle there. Yeah. There is, I mean, we've mentioned it before that there are quite a number of players that have played for both clubs. And
there is that added tension within the game.
Colbertaldo finds McLaughlin. Didn't look where he was passing that, and Haptamarian has to be on his toes to get it back to Magic. Space for Bobolus. Instead of bringing it down, he tries to head it on, and Isaac Clements will clear up for Belconnen. But Bobolus puts him under pressure and does well to win his side a throw-in. Early pressure from Olympic. Gerbischer came across to win it, and Clements clears. Colbertaldo finds Gilevsky. Colbertaldo again. Reinhardt gets stuck in. And it's cleared by Clements, but only as far as Nathan Magic. Opened the scoring last week in the preliminary final with a cracking goal. Good ball forward there as well, and that's a nice little touch into the path of Gilevsky. Cross comes Reinhardt with a fairly robust challenge on the back of the Olympic winger.
This is just the start that Olympic would have hoped for. They're getting the ball down, they're knocking it around, they're penetrating, and Belconnen just need to sort of settle the nerves and get in the game.
Here's Dominici. First real involvement for him. Looking for Gilevsky, and Gerbischer volleys it clear. And as far as Bobolus, back to Dominici again. And Bobolus is caught late as well, and that's another foul. This time it was Dustin Wells who got stuck in, and that's two already that have been a little bit late from Belconnen. Olympic settled a lot quicker.
Yeah, they have, and Timmy Bobolus has come into this game with a little bit of an injury cloud. He has got a dodgy ankle. That wouldn't have helped.
Well, first set piece of the afternoon. Dominici's behind it. Magic, who was an aerial threat last week, has wandered into the penalty area. Of course, Jeremy Haptamariam's in there too. What can Dominici do? Looks to swing it in there. Jurek comes, though, and claims that. And for a goalkeeper, that's a perfect start, really. You want one of those. Tries to get his team going towards Fabrizio. Makor's back there and concedes the throw, but nicely claimed by young Finn Jurek, who's come into his own this season.
He's been excellent, absolutely excellent. The interesting challenge for me is Fabrizio Makor, because in the semi-final, Fabrizio certainly had the better of it.
And here's Haptamariam. Got the better of Nick Dahl there, another youngster playing in the grand final this afternoon. Big job for him today as well to curb probably the attacking instincts of Robbie Katnach.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful on the break that Katnach doesn't influence the game. Nicky Dahl has been a superb performer for Belconnen this year, played extremely well, and I expect that the confidence he's gained from that would stand him in good stead today.
Reinhardt wins that duel with Gilevsky, goes back to his keeper, sends it up towards Wells. Challenged by Bernard Rene, a former Belconnen player, of course, and Wells swings that ball out towards Fabrizio. Bit of space on the far-hand side. Chance to maybe get this into the penalty area. Fabrizio to take on Makor. Into the box he goes. Still going the Belconnen striker, but he's overrun the ball, and in the end, that's good defending by a combination of Daniel Colbertaldo and Adrian Makor.
Yeah, saw the danger away, but it's the sort of thing that Dean Ugrinik will be looking for from Fabrizio, where he runs at Makor and tries to get in beyond him.
Peeled away nicely, didn't he? And Wells picked him out with a superb ball. Taylor beaten, unchallenged in the centre circle. But Constantinou, the experienced Futsal Roos international goalkeeper, gets a second chance. Here's Bobolus. Reinhardt goes to challenge, left a bit of a gap for Gilevsky, but Clements read that well. Bobolus challenged by Ugrinik. Gilevsky wins a header, and Dominici's flagged offside.
Looks in the early exchanges, Russ, that Wells is going to play as a 9, probably as a false 9, and Belconnen going to use Ugrinik and Fabrizio in the wide areas. That
was Owen Goldrick, the linesman this near side, A-League experience. Likes to read lots of books, they tell me.
He does look the nerdy type, doesn't he?
Owen Goldrick, of course, one of the most experienced referees we have in Canberra. Here's Gilevsky. McLaughlin. Colbertaldo finds Haptamariam. Bit of space for Haptamariam to work. Looks to play the ball to Katnach, but it's a bit of a lazy ball back from Robbie Katnach, and Nick Dahl takes over, and again there's a heap of space for Fabrizio to run into. Makor's going to try and get back and challenge him, but Fabrizio's away here. Still going, Daniel Fabrizio, but he couldn't get the shot away. And in the end, it was a tame effort that rolled back to Constantinou, but worrying signs early on for Olympic on that left-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely. In transition, Belconnen are utilising the space in behind Makor, and that could pay dividends for them.
At the other end, here's Tim Bobolus. Space for him. Now, Dominici's peeled wide. He won't mind running at Reinhardt. Pulls it back to Colbertaldo. Good ball in. Bobolus heaps of space here. Real opportunity for Gilevsky, and Jurek comes out. And the challenge was in there, and a bit of words between Finn Jurek and Josh Gilevsky, but his touch let him down there, Gilevsky, because this ball came in, Steve, and when Bobolas was given the freedom of the penalty area, and it came to Gillespie, and that was a heavy touch, otherwise he was in on goal.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great opportunity to take the lead, blown as a result of a heavy touch, as you say.
Well, good chance early on there, and Tim Bobolas had the freedom of the Belconnen penalty area. Just kept running and no one picked him up.
And you had Belconnen standing around like statues claiming the offside when clearly he was not.
Yeah, no flag against him there, so that's a chance gone begging for Olympic in the early stages. Here's Fabrizio. A couple of seasons ago they were second best for the first 15-20 minutes here against Canberra FC in the grand final, and FC scored early on and probably should have been 2 or 3 up, missed some good chances. And Robbie Katanach pulled them back into it, and they've started much better this time round. Here's Makevsky. Looks for a 1-2 with Beaton. Doesn't get it, and Bobolas brings it away to Reinhardt. Here's Ugrinik. First time we've seen Belconnen as a real attacking threat. Here's Reinhardt taking on René. Bernard René sticking to Cam Reinhardt well, though, and conceding the throw, which the stocky fullback will take.
Been a tremendous server to Belconnen, Cam Reinhardt.
Ball's ricocheting around, falling nicely for Ugrinik, running at the defence, and Medjic has to get there and hook it away, only as far as Makevsky. And that's a poor back pass, and Dominici almost got in on that. And Matty Gerbischer would have been exposed then if that had gone through.
Just
and as good as Matt Gerbischer is as a defender, you wouldn't fancy him in a foot race with Dominici. Here's Makevsky. Bit of space for him in midfield. Fabrizio made the run, didn't use him though, comes back to Dahl, tried to get his shot away, good effort in the end, but he's just scuffed across it.
But after a shaky start, Belconnen are working themselves into it. This game has got all the hallmarks of being extremely even, and the team that settles best over the next 10-15 minutes is probably going to put themselves in a pole position.
We've got 4 good defenders on the park here today, but I'm not sure either of them are as quick as their opposite numbers up front. You think Ugrinik and Fabrizio would have the pace on Medjic and René, and of course you think Dominici and Gillespie would have the pace on Clements and Gerbischer as well.
Yes, you would, but the experience of Clements and Gerbischer, René, Medjic is going to let them do the first 2 or 3 metres in the heads.
They won't want to leave themselves exposed if they can help it though. Here's Gillespie, gets past the challenge of Ugrinik, Beaton comes across to win it. Gillespie left a foot in there. Luke Withell waves play on. And Ugrinik tries to play a ball into the channel now. Makevsky's got goal side. Anyone in the penalty area for him to hit? He's going to have to take on Habtemariam, and he goes down under the challenge. No doing, says Withell. And Habtemariam picks up the loose ball. Now Gillespie's got a really open feel to it, hasn't it? It feels like a proper final.
It's a good start from both teams. It's a good start.
As we say that, McLaughlin kicks it straight into touch. Standard curse of the commentary team.
In transition, Belconnen need to do better than that. Makevsky got himself into a great spot, but they didn't have people attacking the penalty box like they should do.
Mabry goes in to snap into that tackle and loses out in the end to Cole Bataldo. Looks to put it forward as the sun beats down on that far hand side. It's Gerbischer, or Clements rather, loses out. And Bobolas can bring it away. Now space for Gillespie. Habtemariam's made the run in behind, and he's going to get on the end of this unless Matty Gerbischer comes across and defends well. That's the experience you were talking about.
Yeah. Just dropping off that 5 or 10 metres so that he can get himself into position. He read it well. Looking a bit more out of Jason Ugrinik though when they're playing into his feet to hold it up.
Well, it certainly feels like we're going to get goals today. Good opening by both sides. Clements heads it away. It bounces off Gillespie, and Reinhardt will just let that roll out of play. Live PS4 NPL Grand Final on Bar TV Sports here in Canberra. Belconnen United and Canberra Olympic 0-0, 10 minutes in. Katanach goes down under the challenge. Again, no foul, says the referee, and Beaton sends that one forwards. It's won by Maycor. Medjic sends it back. Beaton says have it back again. Challenge between Wells and Medjic, which Wells wins. Now here's Habtemariam. Ball finally on the deck. Maycor and Habtemariam happy to exchange passes.
Young Maycor did well when he came on last week. He played very well.
Nearly scored as well, didn't he? Had an opportunity towards the end there. Here's Bobolas. Tries to swing this one into the penalty area. That's a deep one, but he's overhit it. And early stage has been quite encouraging.
I think so. I mean, but the two better chances that have been created have been destroyed by bad touches. Ugrinik at one end and Gillespie at the other.
Here's Reinhardt. Beaton's pass is a bit short, but Makevsky uses his strength to hold off Katanac. Now Dahl. It's a good ball in behind, and Mako does well to read the intentions of Fabrizio. McLaughlin. Isn't quite settled yet, Tom McLaughlin.
No, I think Tommy's not quite the player he has been in the last couple of seasons, and I think Belconnen will be happy if he gets a lot of possession and they can close him down.
He's had a touch in this opening stages. Magic looks to sweep that one out to Heptamarian. It's a glorious ball, but Heptamarian's touch lets him down a little. Reinhardt. Here's Rene. When he's been pulled over by Wells, and there's no foul right in front of the Olympic bench, and Bukevski's away. Held up well by the run of Bukevski. In goes Ugrinik, and he's away from the keeper. But he's prodded it wide. Constantinou did enough, I think, to come out, and Frank Keisha's apoplectic down here. There was a challenge just before this replay that we saw there on, I think it was Wells may have pulled someone back, but that was a great run from Ugrinik to get in, and once he got there, perhaps should have done better.
Yeah, and the pace of Ugrinik going in behind is...
No, sorry Steve, no flag against Gillespie. Out comes Jurek, and does very well to win the header. Heptamarian, and Clements wins it. It's his turn to send it forward. Sorry, cut you off there.
No, that's all right. I mean, chances at both ends. Hallmarks of a great game.
It's very open.
Yeah, much more open than I anticipated at the start of the game.
Well, Tim Bobolis will take the throw. I mean, I think Frank Keisha would have been very unhappy if Ugrinik had scored off what they considered to be a foul right in front of their bench. Here's Beaton, starting to control things in the middle a little bit. Finds Fabrizio, another good run from the youngster. Running at Maker again, pulls it back. Dahl looking to set up a shooting opportunity. Fabrizio's touch lets him down. He twists and turns away from Maker, looking to get the ball into the penalty. It's a good one too. The header comes in. Great save from Constantinou. It was Wells with the header, and the Olympic keeper saves it with his feet. It's still not over yet. Gerbischer brings it back. McLaughlin gets a foot in. Here's Beaton again. He started that move. Fabrizio again's peeled away from Maker and got heaps of space. He'll run at the full-back again. Colbertaldo has to come and clear, but what an opportunity that was for Belconnen United. And they'll get a free kick, perhaps. No. Dahl plays it wide. Mabry. He goes at Maker as well. They've certainly identified that as a weak link, I think, early on. And an Olympic get away with that, but what a save from Constantinou. Yeah,
and Wells will be a little disappointed that he didn't do better than that. He was in a great spot, but it's really important that you capitalise when you create chances like that.
It's a super ball in, and the header was aimed downwards by Wells, and Constantinou stuck out one of his big legs and just pushed the ball away from the goal line. What an opportunity to open the scoring. That's good chances at both ends. Promises much. Clements. Rene sends it up. Here's Dominici. And he goes down, and that's a free kick that occasion. A little pull back from Makevsky. Fairly soft one.
Yeah, a bit soft. You
see the replay here.
But he's if he's upset the Olympic bench, that'll make him a bit happier.
There wasn't a lot in that one. McLaughlin goes early. Looks for Gillespie, who's switched wings. Looking to take on Mabry. Good challenge. Strong by Nick Dahl. And then he's overrun it and given Colbertaldo the opportunity to win it back for Olympic. Colbertaldo from distance, and we've seen him score some spectacular goals from that kind of range, but radar off on that one.
And in grand finals. I think last year, the year before, he's knocked them in from just outside the box. But that's his game. He picks up the crumbs in that holding midfield role. He creates going forward. It's something that Belconnen have got to be aware of.
Yeah, it was at the other end of this field, wasn't it, in the Canberra FC game, to put them 3-1 up, I think, after a couple of Robbie Catnach free kicks. Sealed the game, that third from Colbertaldo a couple of years ago. Here's Heptamarian. Makevsky has it. What's evident early on, Steve, is that there's an awful lot of quality footballers on this field and some good touches from both teams, as Fabrizio again gets in behind the back here and again goes at Maker and again gets past him. Down he goes, and that's a penalty! Luke Withell says penalty. That's an avenue that's been promising much for Belconnen since the start of the game, and Maker cannot handle the pace of Daniel Fabrizio, and he goes down. And it's a spot kick and a yellow card. Let's check this out on the replay. Fabrizio got goal side. There's a coming together of bodies, and you'd have to say that that's probably the right decision from referee Luke Whittle.
Yeah, nailed on. But it's patently obvious at the moment that Belconnen's outball is Fabrizio in behind Maycourt, and it's paid dividends. The penalty to equalise in the semi-final was very, very similar.
So it's Jason Ugrinic from the spots for Belconnen United, a chance for the Blue Devils. Ugrinic usually pretty calm from this situation. Angelo Constantino, though, is a big target in that goal. It's Jason Ugrinic. And a save by Constantino! A stunning stop, one-handed, diving to his right to palm it over the bar. What a stop! Still 0-0. Jason Ugrinic denied by the big Futsal Roos goalkeeper. Fantastic save.
All credit to Angelo. That is a magnificent save. It's a well-struck penalty, but Angelo, using his big frame, has got everything behind and got it over the bar.
Here's Cameron Reinhardt from the corner, swings it in, up goes Fabrizio, and there's another clash in the penalty area, and this time it's a free kick to Canberra Olympic. And whatever grievances Olympic had about that penalty, their goalkeeper's got them out of jail with that one.
Absolutely, absolutely. And once again, Belconnen blow a golden opportunity to take the lead, and this may well come back to haunt them.
Yeah, how important may that save be in the long term? 17 minutes in the grand final, and Ugrinic struck it pretty well. It was a nice height for Constantino, but he got a fair bit of meat behind it, and the goalkeeper threw up a big paw and palmed it over the bar. Led off for Olympic, and at the other end, Dominici's looking. Here comes Jurak. He's swept pretty well as a goalkeeper so far this afternoon. 2 or 3 times they played that ball over the top, and Finn Jurak's been well alive to it.
Yeah, but the Belconnen back four is playing a little flat, and it may well be something they need to address before the half-time break.
Well, 18 minutes of this grand final, and it's certainly been action-packed so far. Live on Bar TV Sports, PS4 NPL from Canberra. Belconnen United 0, Canberra Olympic 0, but a missed penalty for the Blue Devils. Here's Wells. Sweeps a beautiful ball into the path of Fabrizio. He'll go at them again here. Fabrizio. Colbertaldo this time body checks him. No foul, says the referee. Look, perhaps more in that than there was in the penalty.
I think he's been a little lenient there.
Gillespie. Olympic need to settle after that. Here's Dominici. Beaton slides in. It's fallen for Habtemariam, and forward come the champion side. Won everything there is to win in Canberra over the last 3 seasons. Here's Bobolas looking for a runner. Beaton comes in and fouls him. Free kick's taken quickly by Habtemariam. And there's a good foot in there by Isaac Clements. And it's all getting a bit feisty around now. This is a proper grand final, Steve.
Yeah, this is what you're looking for. Both teams going at it, hammer and tongs, chances at both ends, everything to play for, neither team given an inch.
Goran McKeskey's down on the touchline, blowing his nose, I think, or maybe he's got a bit of blood coming out of his nose. Maybe got a knock. Beaton takes a free kick. Bobolas wins a header. Huge amount of space in midfield for both teams at the moment. Colbertaldo looking for the run of Gillespie, and that's a good ball, and again Finn Jurak is quick off his line.
Yeah, once again they've obviously worked on getting people in behind the Belconnen back four, and at the moment Clements and Derbyshire are getting away with it, but nobody's covering, and if you get the right weight on the ball, there's a chance.
Mabry lost that initially but won it, and then dives into the challenge. It breaks for McLaughlin. Now Habtemariam look to take on Reinhardt, who wins the tackle, then slides into McLaughlin with his studs up. And the referee, Luke Whittle, gives a free kick.
Decent play by Cam Reinhardt, though. He broke up the attack, and he's given them a chance now to reset.
Yeah, he just overran the ball slightly and went in with his studs up. Gives away the free kick. Nothing more than that, though, in that challenge.
Changed game these days, though, Russ, isn't it?
Yeah, we used to call that a tackle back when I played. Yeah. Magic will take the free kick. Clips it into the penalty area, looking for Bobolas, who wins the header back across goal. Kapnach was there lurking. Comes for Colbertaldo. Now Habtemariam. Back to McLaughlin. Bobolas, faced by Ugrinic. Looks to play the 1-2 with Habtemariam and gets there. Swings a good-looking ball in, and it's landed on the roof of the net. Jurak had that covered all the way, though, I think.
Interesting at the moment that both teams seem to think that their right-hand side is the way forward. Bobolas, Habtemariam down the right for Olympic, and Fabrizio up against Adrian McCaw in the left-back spot for Olympic.
I think Meko needs to get a little bit closer to his man. Magic wins that one in order to stop Fabrizio running into those channels. It's another foul conceded by Olympic, and McLaughlin goes early. Colbertaldo tried to find Gillespie. Good idea. Didn't come off. Beaton and Mabry combine. Fabrizio turns Makor again, and off he goes into that channel. Colbertaldo comes back, shoulder to shoulder, and then there's something off the ball there as well. Fabrizio throws himself to the ground. Rather theatrically, you'd have to say.
Yeah, he went down too easy then. I don't think it was ever going to be a free kick, but he's turned him well. He's got him behind and then ended up on the ground for no apparent reason.
Well, he's causing them all sorts of problems on that left flank, on that right flank rather. And that's something that Frank Casey will look at, I think, and try to rectify sooner or later, whether it's a switch with Bobolis or whether he just leaves the youngster over there to come to grips with the situation himself. Here's Colbertaldo. Now Gillespie. Nobody in the central position to pick up that pass.
Switch was on though.
Reinhardt plays a beautiful ball out towards Fabrizio, who this time neglects to run at the man and just prods it past him, but it's rolling through to Constantine.
Yeah, he was anticipating a run from Mikeski that didn't arrive, but it is the outball for Belconnen. They're getting a lot of joy out of there.
We certainly got his game head on today, Daniel Fabrizio, hasn't he? He's enjoyed the first 20 minutes of this grand final. Won his side a penalty. Unfortunately, they couldn't take advantage of that. And from Canberra Olympics' point of view, Angelo Constantino came out on top of that duel. Here's Nick Dahl. Fabrizio again. Makor backs off, doesn't get quite so close this time. Shooting chance for Ugrinik, who fires it in and parried away by Constantino. And the clearance completed by Bobolis up towards Gillespie, who challenges with Clements. Olympic have a throw. Good shot that from Jason Ugrinik, and a routine save though for Angelo Constantino.
This is where teams become really vulnerable though. They've had a good spell, Belconnen, haven't been able to capitalise on it, and Olympic are capable of it.
Well, that's a late challenge there by Gerbischer, and the play on, says the referee, because Dominici has got it on the edge of the penalty area, taking on Zach Mabry. This is what Stephen Dominici likes to do, running at players. He's well held up though, and Habtemariam has to come back to McLaughlin. Habtemariam again, in towards Dominici, and well challenged by Mabry.
Good ball out.
Good ball, good touch from Fabrizio as well. Now here's Wells, looking to advance. Cross comes Habtemariam, but he beats him far too easily. Dustin Wells into the penalty area towards Ugrinik, and Rene sticks out a right boot and clears it. Here's Dahl. Goes back to Gerbischer. We haven't really had time to catch our breath in the first 23, 24 minutes of this one.
It's been a fantastic game so far. Fantastic to watch. I'm sure the players have been enjoying being part of it.
Gerbischer plays it into the channel again, and once more Fabrizio takes on Makor. Crossing opportunity perhaps, comes back to Mabry. Now Fabrizio. Colbertaldo is the one over there challenging him at the moment, but he's shrugged him off as well, and he's past Makor again. But his cross this time is easily cut out by Nathan Mejic. Here's Habtemariam. Oh, and that's a thumping challenge to win the ball. Fairly as well. Here's Taylor Beaton. Will he try one from distance? Beaton does. It's blocked by McLaughlin. It's going to break though, and Zach Mabry's the only one alert enough to get across to it. Olympic very slow out there. Mabry into the penalty area, but poor cross really with his left foot, and it's cleared. But Olympic second best over the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. And Fabrizio's dominance of the right-hand side, Belconnen's right-hand side, is forcing Colbertaldo to get into areas where he's defended, and he loses his effectiveness going forward as a result.
And the throw is sent into the penalty area, and Rene wins it. Falls for Beaton, who tries his luck from distance. It will dip, but Constantino was watching it the whole way. Taylor Beaton, fantastic servant of Belconnen United Football Club.
Captain fantastic, Taylor Beaton. He's
brought it down well there, Steve, didn't he? And just didn't quite get enough on the dip. Leads by example.
He does indeed lead by example, and he's capable of actually knocking something in the top corner from there.
I've seen him do it on this ground on plenty of occasions before. Here's Gillespie. Well, nice idea. But Cam Reinhardt's been around a long time. Seen those sort of things before.
Looks effective though, Gillespie. Looks a decent young player.
Yeah, he looks like he's up for this one as well. In fact, everyone on the pitch does at the moment. Bobolis with a throw. Here is Gillespie. Time to bring it down and hook it over his shoulder towards Katanach. Durack again comes out for it, fumbles it this time. But he's not shy coming off his line, Finn Durack, is he? He reads it quite well.
No, I think that gives his defence a lot of confidence as well, knowing that if they are going to be caught over the top, that Durack's a chance of actually picking up the crumbs.
Dahl wins the header. Bobolas gets there before Ugrinic. Gets it back off Gillespie, now looks for Dominici, but that one's overhit. And we'll go through to the young Belconnen goalkeeper. The Flying Finn, as I think he's been called in the past. Here's Taylor Beaton. Looking for Ugrinic. Bobolas has to be careful here and does well just to nod that one back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, well read, well dealt with.
Now space for Magic. Sweep of the right boot to look for Habtemariam. A good ball too. Finding the winger, Habtemariam. Chance perhaps for Olympic to try something. Here's Gillespie on the edge of the penalty area. Shoots. But that was always rising over the crossbar as well. Took a nick off of Isaac Clements and they'll get a corner. It's amazing how much space there is there, Steve.
It's a very, very open game, and nearly every attack at the moment is resulting in a finish. Not quite on target, not quite the quality that we might expect from both teams, but certainly chances are plenty from both ends. Not dissimilar to Australia or Thailand during the week. Although it was a bit more one way.
I was going to say it's a little bit more even, this one. Tom McLaughlin with the corner. Magic, of course, on the far post. Bernard Rene jogging in unnoticed behind him at the moment. No blue shirts gone to meet him. And it's knocked up towards Magic, who was going to win that. It's fallen for Rene. Looks to take on Maybury. Clements, rather. Tried the trick and doesn't get anything out of it. And it's a goal kick. And this first half an hour has fairly flown by.
It's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the Bernie Rene found himself in a position then very similar to Magic found himself in last week. Set pieces are obviously something that Olympics spend a lot of time on.
But he snuck in there, didn't he? No one really picked him up. He was chatting to Frank Cation, that's why he jogged forward a little bit late. Maybe discussing how they can sort it out in the with Mako to give him a bit more protection. Here he is. He seems to have moved a bit more central.
I think they've moved him into midfield. And Rene's gone to right back.
And Colbertado looks as peeled into the central defender. Well, there you go. You can see it on the back four. We can see out of the picture now. It looks like Adrian Mako's gone into central defence alongside Nathan Magic, which means Rene will look after Fabrizio. Interesting change. Here is Mako. Good footballer, as we said. It's just on that occasion, Fabrizio had the running of him. Interesting to see how that tactical change works out.
Good. I mean, Case has seen it, made the adjustment. It's see now whether it works or not.
I'm not sure Adrian Mako's played central defence before. I'm not convinced. If he has, I don't know.
He's
certainly a defensive player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's certainly more accustomed to playing as a 6, and the transition between 6 and 3 and 4 is probably not that difficult. So he'll be more comfortable in there, I think.
And he's got the experience of Nathan Magic beside him as well to talk him through it. I think he'd be quite happy to get away from Daniel Fabrizio at the moment.
I think he might.
Half an hour in, still no goals, live on Bar TV Sports. Hope you're enjoying the match at home as much as we are in the commentary box. Here's Wells. Magic wins it. It's going to bounce all the way through to Finn Durack. Next week, we're live again. Saturday nights from Deakin Stadium. It's Canberra Olympic against Edgeworth Eagles in the NPL final series. Looking forward to that one. And then on Sunday, women's grand final. Belconnen United against either Canberra FC or Gungahlin. So still more football to come for you on Bar TV Sports from Canberra this year. It's a challenge between Clements and Katanach. It's going to break towards Dominici, and Matt Gerbischer wins a thumping challenge. But Makor was there to win the header. Magic and Constantino between them conspire to get it to Makor.
He already looks more comfortable in that central role.
Gillespie's lost it, and Ugrinic's got in behind them here. Chance perhaps for Ugrinic to square it across. It's a real chance here! And Dustin Wells, who we mentioned before, comes up trumps. First blood, Belconnen United. Blue Devils 1, Olympic 0.
And it's not undeserved. Belconnen over the last 10 or 15 minutes have been the better team. They've created chances, and that's the goal they needed to turn pressure into scoreboard pressure. Wells, we said at the start of the game, if he's going to do something, it'll be today. And comes as a quick turnover, and Ugrinic plays a lovely ball in and a lovely finish from Dustin.
Big players come up with big moments in big games, and Dustin Wells has found one here in the 31st minute. Belconnen United lead Jason Ugrinik, credit to him as well, though, to pick out the run. The ball was perfect. All Wells needed to do was use the pace to guide it beyond Angelo Constantinou, and this time the Olympic stopper could do nothing about it, and it's Belconnen who lead. What have Olympic got in response? Here's McLaughlin. Gillespie found Katanach, and Dominici's got in behind. Gerbischer comes out and is going to run too far, and the game was crying out for that goal. It'd been open. We were looking for a goal, and it's got one 31 minutes in, the first of the afternoon, and the way we've seen so far, Steve, I doubt that'll be the last.
It's a game that has got goals written all over it. The Belconnen will be a little concerned because in the 4 games, including this one, Belconnen have taken the lead and surrendered it.
Yeah,
so
if one team's not going to be phased by going behind, it will be Olympic. Here's Hampton Merriam looking for Katanach. Need to get him more involved in an attacking sense. Good ball out to Gillespie, one-on-one with Reinhardt. Looks to take him on, nutmegs him brilliantly, but across comes Clements to win it at the challenge, and Gillespie left a boot in. Concedes a free kick.
Good cover, though. Good cover. I mean, you had Gillespie one-on-one with Reinhardt, and the defenders have got in there to make the numerical superiority. So Dean will be really happy with that. Ugrinik will be really happy with that.
Yeah, Gillespie tied Reinhardt up in knots there for a moment, didn't he? The little nutmeg to get him into the area, but there was 2 Blue Devil shirts back there. And they've got themselves a free kick, and they've got themselves the lead. They're 1-0 ahead. Ugrinik to Wells. Ball out there, but there's no one making the forward run.
Not sure what pictures you saw there.
Probably expecting either Zach Mabry, I think, to make the forward run, and Zach Mabry declined the offer. There's Dominici looking to turn Gerbischer. He's back with Mabry to Durack. The floodlights come on at McKellar. Don't need them just yet, do we? But may do by the end of the night. Here's Magic. It's ironic, actually, that the goal came from a ricochet over the head of young Maycourt. And Ugrinik was alert enough to get there. It came as Gillespie tried to play the ball forward, and I think it hits a Belconnen player and dropped nicely for Ugrinik. And once he got in that position, he had several options. He chose the right one.
He did indeed. And on such moments, the games change.
That's a raking ball to Hampton Merriam. And he wins himself a throw.
So the one-on-one defending from both teams has been reasonably good, apart from, Fabrizio having the better of his fullback on the other side of the park. Reinhardt has done well down here for Belconnen. Renee's done all right in the middle. And Mabry's done pretty well as well. So,
as I said, it's very ironic that after all the challenges they put down the right-hand side, it was down the left that the goal came. But Olympic, as I said, won't be phased. Hampton Merriam skips past the challenge, looks to cross into the penalty area. McLaughlin looked to get there. It's going to drop on the edge of the box for Katanach. This could be dangerous. His first touch wasn't greatest, though, and good cover defence from Taylor Beaton to block that. And there's that ball towards Fabrizio. Now, what's he got against Renee? And Renee just gets a foot in, and it's bounced off of Fabrizio, and it's, in the end, a throw-in.
There's no need for Belconnen to change the tactic with Renee going to left back. Fabrizio is still the out ball, and it's going to be effective for them.
I think there was a card there for somebody.
I think it was a retaliation from Fabrizio.
Did the card come out? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I'll have to check. Our producer telling us that the ref dropped his cards. Good quality stuff from the referees.
I think there's been a few games this season where I wish they had dropped the cards.
It was off to my right, and I couldn't see it out of my eye. As a shot comes in from distance, it's dipping, and it's just wide of goal. He must have taken a deflection on the way as well. I think that was Jason Ugrinik who let that one go.
Yeah, on his left foot, for favoured left foot. Not a bad effort. And it's the sort of thing that is going to catch Angelo by surprise if you're prepared to shoot from distance.
Well, he definitely was on target, and it took a deflection off the back of an Olympic player, and it's conceded the corner. Belconnen looking for a second. They need this grand final 1-0. They've missed a penalty as well. So it's fair to say that they'll feel that they're in the ascendancy.
It's a 90-minute game though, Russ, isn't it? And they've got to keep it up if they're going to win.
Wells swings it in towards a near post. It's well cleared by Dominici. Back there comes for Beaton, and now here's a chance perhaps on the break for McLaughlin. But it's good covering from Reinhardt. It's going to break the spin of the ball, and that's not the greatest clearance by Makiewski, and it's Dominici looking to find Katanach, but that pass is short, and Nick Dahl won it, and now it's open up the other end. Ugrinik looking for Fabrizio, makes the run, and Constantinou had that covered all the way in. Before everyone can pause, he rolls it out to Rene, who finds Habtemariam, and we're off up the other end again.
It's certainly end-to-end, is it not?
When Habtemariam's lost possession there as well. No foul, says the referee, and off come Belconnen. And two players, Ugrinik and Makevsky, ran into each other. That was definite foul by Ugrinik on Makevsky. Gillespie's away on the right-hand side. Looks to swing it in. Durack, though, plucks it out of the air. Probably a yellow card offence, wasn't it?
It could well have been. It looks like we got a little injury on the far side, and Durack has played that out of play, so that is it Rene can get? No, not
It's
Rene.
Habtemariam. He got caught with the
Yeah.
challenge came in. There was a lot of ball that Belconnen were claiming. Olympic were claiming there was none, of course, and Luke Withell said, play on. Frank Keisha wasn't happy with it down here on the near touchline. Had a chat with Bruno Kell, the fourth official, about it.
Wouldn't be the first time a coach has questioned the referee's decision, though, would it?
Sure, it won't be the last time today either. We got less than 10 minutes to half-time. Belconnen lead. Very entertaining stuff so far. Here's Dahl. Won by Maycor, who, as Steve alluded to, is much more comfortable, I think, in that central defensive position than he was at left-back. We talked about the disruption before kickoff of losing Victor Yanes and Phil Yarnold in the week, and Victor Yanes before kickoff, and I think it's fair to say it has disturbed them a little bit at the back there.
They certainly haven't looked as comfortable defensively as they have in the past. But a bit of credit to Belconnen as well, because they have played really well, certainly in using that switch into Fabrizio.
Very, very good football from Belconnen United. They deserve their lead at the moment. Look more threatening in the final third. Here's McLaughlin. Katanach from Gillespie. Back to Gillespie again. That's better from Olympic. And across comes Matty Gerbischer, and he'd love sliding into Stephen Dominici there. Two players who know each other very well.
Absolutely, and there is no doubt at the moment that Dominici cannot get into the game as a result of Gerbischer, Clements marking him so tightly.
But you mentioned before kickoff, Steve, that he's a player that could be anonymous for quite some time and then come up with the goods. Olympic Belconnen will need to be on their toes throughout the rest of this match. Here's Wells. Makevsky. Magic just slams that one up in the air. Katanach will challenge, but Dahl does well to win it. Makevsky helps it on its way. And Wells is cleaned out by Tim Bobolus. 50-50 challenge there, and it's all smiles on the ground. And Tim Bobolus definitely went for it here, Bobolus, and clattered Dustin Wells, didn't he?
I think both players had eyes for the ball. It was just that Timmy was just a bit late. Correct decision. No need for any further sanction.
Absolutely, and Timmy Bobolus not that sort of player to go looking for trouble. Here's Constantino. He'll easily gobble them up all day long. Now Habtemariam. Magic. First time we've seen him stride forward this afternoon, and that's a good-looking ball towards Gillespie, who tries to knock it into his own path. Now, he's got the pace on Reinhardt, but Reinhardt has the body strength and positioning to try and hold him off, and does well to win the free kick. Years of experience there from Cam Reinhardt. Knows he's not as quick in a foot race as Gillespie, so just did well enough to get his body in the way.
And experience is worth gold, isn't it?
Especially on occasions such as this. The sun is going down behind us in the stand, of course. I'm sure the temperature will drop accordingly.
But not the pace of the game. I expect it to keep going and pick up.
As far as grand finals go, it's been up there with one of the best ones I've seen for a long time in terms of commitment and football. And they're usually a good battle, but this one's got some good quality to it as well.
The sheer openness of the game is surprising.
Makevsky gives it away to Bobolus. Habtemariam makes the run. The flag goes up though. Just went a little bit too soon.
But once again, it's that ball in behind that is just overplayed, or the run's made a little bit early, that is costing Olympic chances. 5 minutes to go. Belconnen will be looking to get another one, but certainly not concede.
Durack with the goal, with the free kick. Wells challenges with Magic. Magic climbs highest. Dahl, who's picked up a lot of loose ball today.
It's been outstanding so far. Been absolutely outstanding.
And that's a miscommunication between Makevsky and Clements, and Clements just rolls that one out of play. And Olympic will start from deep. Mako goes back to Constantino. Fabrizio looking to shut him down quickly. But they've worked it out well, and Bobolus will send it forward. Clements wins the header. Beaten. Touch wasn't great, but he's going to get himself a free kick. The physical battle between Taylor Beaton and Joshua Gillespie, I know who my money would be on.
Well, the winner come out of it, didn't he? The great physical challenge, great physical battle. This is what you want in games of this stature.
Very impressed with Gillespie so far as well. He looks a threat when he gets the ball in open field positions. If they can get him into dangerous positions in the final third, he could cause problems. Here's Haptamariam, who's doing a very similar role on the other flank. Fabrizio, perpetual movement from Daniel Fabrizio. And that time his pass was overhit. You can see what he was looking for. Wells, maybe 15 years ago, would have gone for that one.
Little reverse pass, but a great touch in the first place.
Makor, raking ball forward, looking for Dominici. Gerbischer has to be careful. Rather unorthodoxly gets that one out, and Durack saves the corner but concedes the throw.
Just a little concerned if I'm the Belconnen coach about the fact that the back four's a little square, a little bit flat. Not caused them any troubles yet, but it's only a matter of getting that one pass right and then they're in.
Well, you saw last week when Stephen Dominici gets in one-on-one, he's usually pretty good. 28 goals this season would tell you how good he is. A little bit of a wrestle there between Tim Bolus and Fabrizio. Just let that one go to see if there's a bit of afters between the two, and Tim Bolus is not going to let Fabrizio run past him here. He's having a couple of words and dropping the shoulder in here, Steve. A bit of a...
It's still going on.
Still going. Interesting little battle. Makor wins the header. It's going to fall for McLaughlin. Now Dominici with a good challenge from Isaac Clements. Very solid at the back there. Wells. Makevski. Well done, Goran Makevski as well to Dahl. He looks for the run out wide of Ugrinik, but he's asked too much of the striker and it's out of play. Coming up towards half-time, Steve, entertaining half.
It's been a great half, We've had the one goal, could have had more. We've had a missed penalty, we've had a little bit of controversy. We've had some physical challenges that take you back to the old days of football, but a great game to watch, great game to be here for.
You're going to pop down to the field in a moment, aren't you, and try and catch a word with a couple of the coaches, with both coaches as they come off at half-time. I'll send you down there in just a minute, Steve. It should be good to have a quick half-time chat. If we can get a couple of questions in. Here's Makor to Gillespie. Looks to take on Beaton. Gets past him, but Nick Dahl again is there. Ugrinik. Dahl. Beaton. Cole Bataldo back with him. Belconnen skipper still has the ball though. Now Fabrizio. Trying his luck down Makor against Bobolas on this side. Cole Bataldo's gone across to help as well, and Fabrizio finds Beaton. And he finds Mabry on the overlap. Mabry goes past Rene and goes down under the challenge right on the edge of the penalty area. Free kick to Belconnen.
They're certainly getting a lot of joy down that right-hand side, are they not?
They certainly are. Steve's going to head on down, I think. And this free kick for Belconnen United. Opportunity to swing it in. Free kick which Ugrinik will take. To see if he can swing this one into the penalty area. Dips it in towards the far post and it was faded away, just away from goal. Minute to go till half-time. Steve's just abandoned me in the commentary area for the time being to go and see if we can get some pitch-side interviews as the players come off, of the teams come off at half-time. Belconnen United leading thanks to that goal scored by Dustin Wells in the 31st minute. After Jason Ugrinik had missed a penalty for Belconnen. Here's Taylor Beaton. Wins a free kick against Bobolas. A little coming together between the duo. Into stoppage time at the end of the first half. And Dustin Wells will take the free kick for Belconnen United, who lead through his goal. It's a bit of coming together again between Fabrizio and Tim Bobolas off the ball, that Frank Cage is not happy with. Wells, right-footed, swings it in. Constantinu comes looking, doesn't win it, it's headed goalwards. It's a second goal for Belconnen United, and it's Nick Dahl who wins it in the air, and a crucial goal right on the stroke of half-time. The young central midfielder wins it. Constantinu came, didn't get anywhere near it. Dahl wins it. Blue Devils in control. He rose highest to win the header, and it just rolls into the empty net, and that is a coach killer. Right on the stroke of half time. A huge moment in this match. Nick Dahl with the header. 2-0 to Belconnen United, and it's a long, long way back for the league champions from here. What a moment. That'll make Dina Grinnick's half-time team talk a lot easier. Gillespie, McLaughlin, Renee. The final whistle goes, or the half-time whistle goes, I should say. Nick Dahl's goal has certainly put Belconnen in control here at McKellar Park. Dustin Wells, opener after 31 minutes. And then the header from Nick Dahl right on the cusp of half-time. It's been an entertaining half for those of you watching at home as the teams leave the fields. Going to try and catch a word down on the sideline if we can, with the coaches if they're still out there. What a half of football though. Jason Ugrinnick missed a penalty after 17 minutes. Dustin Wells made it 2-0 after half an hour. And there was the second goal rather, from Nick Dahl on the stroke of half time, and that won't please Olympic, and it won't please Angelo Constantino at all. Looking for a quick chat, and we're seeing if they'll have a quick word, and it doesn't look like either coach is particularly keen to do so at the moment. So we'll leave it at that. Trying to bring you some half-time. Dina Grinnick ran off fairly quickly, and Frank Casey obviously has got work to be done, so we'll leave them get on with it. As I said, goals from Wells and Dahl at half-time in the PS4 NPL Grand Final in Canberra. Belconnen 2, Canberra Olympic 0. Welcome back to Michaela Park for the PS4 NPL Grand Final, live on Bar TV Sports. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. With me, Steve Forshaw. Steve, we've seen an excellent first half. We saw Belconnen United take the lead and miss a penalty, and then when you went down to get the aborted half-time interviews, I can understand why both coaches wanted to get to the field pretty quickly. That second goal, right on the cusp of half-time, and Nick Dahl had a crucial moment.
Absolutely. It's from Olympics' point of view, it's a heartbreaker. From a Belconnen point of view, gives them just a little bit of comfort, but it's a dangerous scoreline. Anybody involved in football will tell you 2-0's not enough. So it really is about the first 10 or 15 minutes of the second half and how well Belconnen can contain the threat that I'm sure is going to come from Olympic.
They've been the champion team in Canberra for the last 3 years. They were heading for a three-peat. This is a real test of their credentials. Canberra Olympic, who were in the semi-finals of the FFA Cup last year, will start the second half 2-0 down. Stephen Dominici will kick us off. The team lineups as follows: Canberra Olympic, Constantinu in goal, Bobolas, Medjic, Rene and Mako across the back. It would expect Mako to play in the centre though, and Rene out on the left as he did in the first half. Koboltado, McLaughlin and Katanach up front. Gillespie, Dominici, Habtemariam. Belconnen United, Jurek in goal, Mabry, Clements, Gurbish and Reinhardt, Dahl, Beaton, McKeskey, Wells, Fabrizio, Ugrinik. No changes to either side. The only change there was at half-time is Isaac Clements has changed his shirt number from 16 to 15. He went off at half-time. His shirt was covered in blood. Well, probably his, or whether he got a knock somewhere, so he's changed to a different shirt number.
I'm sure that won't affect his performance, and Gerbisher and him have kept Dominici extremely quiet in that first half. But as we've said countlessly, Dominici can be quiet for 89 minutes and still pop up.
Well, whoever's on the bench has got a hell of a shot on them because they've bust the net in the half-time digs. And Greg Taylor there with his absolute withal, just putting some tape around the bottom of the net, good old-fashioned tape. Looking at the benches, and I think it's Canberra Olympics that we need to look at mostly at the moment. Michael Reeve, John Sekenis and Michael John, forward options, of course, and Dimi Paraskos. We probably won't see him today, I wouldn't have thought, unless something different happens. Sekenis, John and Reeve, though, three quality forwards that they can bring on to change this game back in their favour. Certainly,
if nothing changes in the first 10 or 15 minutes, you would expect them to throw on extra attacking threat.
Well, as I said, Canberra Olympic, defending champions, league champions, Federation Cup holders. We're in the FFA Cup again this year. What have they got? Have they got a way back into this final? Or are Belconnen set fair to win the grand final in Canberra? First free kick of the second half goes against Dustin Wells, who opened the scoring just past the half-hour mark. Little niggle at the back there on Mako. No indecision about who wants to take this one. In the end, Angelo Constantinu will get on with it. Dustin Wells complaining about a bit of time wasting. I won't worry about it, Dustin. You're 2-0 up. Constantinu sends it forwards. Beaton wins it. Headed back in the air by Bobolas. And Katanach beats Beaton to the ball, but loses out to Mabry, who is off on a run. It was Clements, rather. Now here's Medjic. Looks for the run of Gillespie. Reinhardt's come, he's got to be careful, and Jurek, as he's done throughout the first half, comes out, sweeps behind his defence to clear for a throw.
He's been solid, hasn't he, the young boy? Read the game well, done everything he's been after doing so far. He hasn't had to make a save of any note, but in terms of backing up his back four, he's done great.
I think the impressive thing is that when he's made a decision, he's stuck to it. He's followed it through. There's been no indecisiveness there for him. Here's Reinhardt, looking for the run of Wells. He's got Ugrinik with him, but sweeps the ball towards Fabrizio. First chance for him to take on Rene at the start of the second half. He started this indecision in the Olympic defence. Sweeps that ball in. It's a good ball too. Defensively, it was half cleared by Medjic. It's going to drop here for McKeskey, but he can't keep that shot down. And it's over the crossbar. Well, what a telling ball that was almost in.
Yeah, lovely vision from Fabrizio again. He's really worrying this back four. I mean, the tactical change to bring Rene over to the left has probably slowed him down a little, but not enough for them to be comfortable with what's occurring.
Yeah, certainly not stifled his creativity to this afternoon. A little knock in the back there by Clements on Katanach, and McKeskey goes across to try and battle with the Olympic talisman.
It's been quiet, Robbie Katanach. Hasn't been in the game as much as I thought he might have been.
Well, they're going to need him to step up if they're going to get back into this one. Him and many of the others in dark blue out there. But we've seen them do it several times in the past. There's a reason why they've won so many trophies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were 3-1 down against Gungahlin with 10 minutes to go in the normal season and still managed to get a point out of it.
Here's Magic finding Haptomerium. Lovely back heel. Finds Rene, sweeps it into the penalty area. Out comes Jurak, and Gilevsky was a studs in width away from knocking that one past the goalkeeper and bringing his team back into it. Jurak did well again, though. Looks for Wells. Just rolls Rene. Gets it back. Here's Mabry. Fabrizio. Gives that one away. Katnat's got there ahead of Dahl, who scored the second goal right on half-time. But Dahl wins it back again. Rene's ball forward, but there's no one there, and Taylor Beaton has acres of time to control it on his chest and thigh, and then finds Reinhardt. Good ball in towards the box. Out comes Constantinou, much better this time from the big keeper to fist it away and find Haptomerium. He'll look to take on Dahl, who's done well to hold him up. But Haptomerium finds Magic in the middle of the park, and he sweeps the ball out towards the far side and looking for the run of Gilevsky. He's one-on-one with Reinhardt, and Cam Reinhardt again just stands him up, gets in the way and just easily dispossesses the winger, Ugrinik. Same happens to him. Now Mukewski and Clements. Reinhardt on the halfway line. Wells looking to find the run of Fabrizio again. He's bisected both him and Mabry, though, and early stages of the second half, Steve, and very much similar to the start of the first half.
It is, but both teams looking to find that out ball with a switch. It's probably been a little less lively at the start of the second half than the first half was, but there's plenty of excitement in store for us yet.
Woodnuts asking Magic's touch back towards Constantinou was a little bit underhit. What do you do if you're Belconnen? Do you stick or twist? Do you go for a third, or do you play with what you got?
I don't think they need to change anything at all. Just do what they've been doing in the first half. If they get a third, well and good, but they can actually wait 10, 15 minutes.
Well, they might get a third here, Steve, as Wells gets in behind on the back of Beaton's pass, rolls it across the 6-yard box, but Maycock concedes the corner. And
good cover from young Maker. That'd give him a lot of confidence. I mean, he does look more comfortable in the middle of the park.
He's done well since he's moved into that position. But his team face an uphill battle. They're 2-0 down, 5 minutes into the second half. The PS4 NPL Grand Final live on Bar TV Sports.
This is where Belconnen will look for the aerial threat of Matty Gerbisher and Isaac Clements.
Pinged towards the far post, and again Constantinou comes, wins the ball, fists it out only as far as Mukewski. Clements. That's Dahl, rather, is it back there? Yes, it is. Yeah. He's dropped into the central back role.
It's been his breakout year, and it's great for him to get a goal in the grand final.
I'd like to see him get forward off those corners. He's a big boy. He showed he can head a ball, as he did with his second goal. The second goal just before the interval. Here's Gilevsky looking to find Haptomerium, but Mabry wins the header. Here's Dahl again. Which sold Beaton a bit short, and Katnach won it, but Beaton got it back. Now it's Mabry. Fabrizio. Mabry goes for the return. Wells. It's opening up for Dustin Wells, but the flag's gone up. And that was probably against Zach Mabry off the return ball from Dustin Wells.
Could have been either one, I think. I think Dustin was probably in an offside position as well when it was played through.
But again, down this flank, Steve.
Yeah. It's it looks like Wells just caught offside there. Fabrizio, to my mind, is the main threat at the moment.
Well, we're going to see Michael Reeve, an early change. Michael Reeve comes on for Adrian Maycor 7 minutes into the second half. That's an early change. And interesting to see what they do with the lineup now.
I wonder if they'll go to 3 at the back now.
Well, Reeves trotted across to the far-hand side to take up his normal wing position, and it does look like they may have gone 3 at the back. Gerbisher wins the header. Mukewski off his shoulder. 2 Olympic players around him, though. Mukewski just pulls him back, and he's going to get himself a yellow card here, I think. That's several fouls that Goran Mukewski's committed today, and finds his way into the referee's notebook.
Yeah, persistent fouling, and it's only a matter of time that the yellow ticket comes out.
Such a soft one to give away, though, isn't it, this early in the second half? And you have to be careful for the rest of the game. Last thing Belconnen will want, and Dean Ugrinik will want, is to have one of his players dismissed and give Olympic a lifeline.
Absolutely. I mean, they've got them in where they want them at the moment, so I'll be expecting Belconnen to keep them there.
Magic. Wasted that one, but it's fallen for Colbertaldo. McKeskey redeems himself by winning the ball, and Reinhardt just banks it up the field. Not the greatest of clearance from Magic. It's going to drop for Ugrinik.
Done well.
He's beaten. Looking for the run of Fabrizio, and Bernard Rene had to stick a leg out, but he's lost possession anyway. Here's Dustin Wells. Asked a lot of Fabrizio. He'll get there though. And Magic comes across, and Dustin Wells has played many a good pass in his life, but on that occasion it wasn't a good one.
No, just overhit it. Put him a little wider than he needed to be, and it was a golden opportunity had the weight of the pass been spot on.
He thought he was going to swing his, open the body up, maybe swing a right foot shot at that one.
Well, he's done that before as well.
Well, Ugrinik's going to take this corner. Olympic up, everybody back except for Katnac, who's on the halfway line. Can Ugrinik pick out a light blue shirt? Drops it in there, and Gillespie clears it. Straight back to the corner taker. Good ball into the box. McLaughlin heads it clear. Colbertaldo challenges with Beaton. Beaton won it, but it's broken for Olympic, and here they come on the break. Here's Katnac looking for Gillespie. Once again, though, they smuggle the ball away from Olympic's most creative player. They haven't given him 1 second on the ball today, have they?
No, and Goran Mukevski's work rate has been absolutely fabulous.
Beaton this time wins it and sends the ball down towards Wells in a foot race with Magic, but Magic wins that one. Back to Constantinou. McLaughlin operating from deep. Hampton Merriam straight into Zach Mabry, who goes at the winger. 2-on-1 here, but Mabry's still going, showing good persistence to fullback. Rene checking with him, but in the end, Zach Mabry can't get the cross in, but good persistence.
He's an ungainly player when he starts going forward. The ball never seems to get out from inside his feet, but he, more often than not, goes past his first and second defender.
Had a spell a few years ago with discipline issues, didn't he, Zach Mabry? And everything he did seemed to result in a yellow card or a red card, but he's certainly calmed down and matured as a player.
Absolutely, and he's now an integral part of the Belconnen back line.
Here he is taking the throw. Looks for Fabrizio. Such a handful. Rene beats him to it this time. On the turn, looks to sweep that one forward, and Clements wins the header. It's going to fall for Mukevski, and there's an acre of space in McKellar Park on that far side for Ugrinik to go at his man. Mukevski likes the shot, pings that one, but it was blocked by Katnac. They're going to get another break though, and every 50-50 loose ball is picked up by a light blue shirt at the moment. Olympic don't look like finding their way back into it 10 minutes into the second half. Here's Mukevski.
They're certainly second best at the moment, and Belconnen will be looking to capitalise on this, I'm sure.
Driving into the box, goes down fairly easily, and Colbertaldo can bring it clear for Olympic. Looking for the run over the top of Gillespie. Again, Durak's come and read it superbly, and again just sends that one off towards the highway, in towards the snakes and the plover's nest.
Into another postcode.
So probably at Kayleen Shops, isn't it? Heading in that direction anyway.
Get us a meat pie.
There's one behind us in the canteen, Steve. All money back to Belconnen Football Club, apparently. I don't know. I think they're running the canteen today.
They are, I think, yeah.
Lots of people here. Full stand on this near side. Fair few on that far side as well. Probably not the biggest grand final crowd we've ever had, but
decent, though.
Decent one.
Yeah, decent.
And they're enjoying what they're seeing, I think.
Well, they should be.
The ones in light blue
game.
might be.
Well, certainly the home supporters will be very much encouraged by what they're seeing at the moment.
All the supporters down that near side. Here's Gillespie. Turning well. Swinging into penalty. A dangerous looking ball. Mabry heads it clear though. And it's a good angled header too, because it's released Fabrizio. Mukevski's come up with him, and, well, Dustin Wells doesn't want to be chasing those things.
No, I think Daniel Fabrizio just got a little bit excited there. He had plenty of time. He just needed to wait for the Mukevski run, and he could have just played him in, and then the ball across the face would have been for Dustin.
Gerbischer, quietly effective again, and a lovely ball to find Ugrinik to cut in. Shooting opportunity perhaps for Jason Ugrinik. Mukevski on the over. It's Wells coming in with the left foot curler, but right foot curler rather, but just over the crossbar. I'll tell you what though, Steve, Dean Ugrinik's got this tactically spot on at the moment.
Oh yeah, he's outthought Frank Keisha in terms of tactics. Glorious opportunity, and it's the sort of finish that Dustin Wells normally gobbles up. but there is no doubt that the movement and pressure that Belconnen are exerting is upsetting Olympic.
Well, here's Fabrizio and Rene again. This battle has been going on all day. Rene wins that one. Here's Dominici. He needs to get involved more, Stephen Dominici. Gerbischer's seen him out a long way, seen him out easily there, though. Colbertaldo finds Rene. Habtemariam. Gulewski snapped in the challenge by Gerbischer, and down he goes, and no foul either way, and Josh Gulewski's in an absolute heap here. And Jeremy Habtemariam and Stephen Dominici are not happy, and it didn't look like the best of challenges from Matt Gerbischer. I'm not sure if we got a replay of that, but
it looked to be slightly from behind, didn't it? But it's
I mean, if he didn't get any of the ball there, that's
well, the referee hasn't seen anything wrong with it, so
always it's worse when it's in front of the bench. We'll have a look here now, and you can see the challenge coming in, and you can see from the referee's angle maybe he thinks that Matty Gerbischer's got the ball there. I don't think he has. He's just caught Gulewski, but you can see where Luke Whittle's paced on the pitch there, and from that angle it may have looked like there was a Blue Devils foot on that. I think that looked like a foul from where we were.
Don't think there was a lot in it though, was there, Russ? Used to be a tackle, you said, didn't you, in the first half?
Not enough to cause any other sanction than a free kick, for certain. Here's Colbertaldo. Bobolis. Reinhardt's read that well. He's had a great game at fullback at the moment. Here's Wells. Ugrinik. Good tracking back by Tim Bobolis. Missing the experience of his brother Nick out there today, aren't they?
Yeah, they have. But it's in midfield where they've actually looked the most vulnerable. Belconnen have been.
And the Rabona from Fabrizio out towards Ugrinik, who's seen off.
Early days in the second half are a bit of showboating, but a lovely touch. Brought the crowd to its feet.
Seems that kind of player, though, doesn't he? Daniel Fabrizio. Certainly got a lot of tricks in his locker.
Very
he's strong, he's quick. Certainly looks a good signing by Belconnen United, and not missing Michael Tarazi out there at all today. Here is Fabrizio. Taking on Rene again, getting past him easily. Pings it across the 6-yard box. But there was no one there in a Blue Devil shirt to turn it in, and Bobolis finds Colbertaldo, and Have Olympic got something on the break. Once again, though, every time one of the Belconnen, the key Olympic players get the ball, there's 2 or 3 Blue Devil shirts around him. It's Colbertaldo. Looks to
Wells,
get it back in again. Wells wins.
Reinhardt, Fabrizio, they've been exemplary, haven't they, today?
Absolutely. Here's Dahl to Fabrizio. Is this a shot from Fabrizio? It's pinged it in. It's been pushed away by Constantinu. No Belconnen players following up. Got a lot behind that, but Constantinu was there. Here's Dominici operating 70 metres from goal. Probably not where they need him. Habtemariam. Half an hour to go in the PS4 NPL Grand Final live on Bar TV Sports. Belconnen United 2, Canberra Olympic 0. Here's Gulewski. Again, he goes at Reinhardt. This time he gets the better of the fullback. Katanach is there too, but they've given the ball away again. It's loose in the middle of the park. Colbertaldo with a little pirouette. It breaks for Habtemariam. Challenged well by Gerbischer. And Dahl sends it on its way and sweeps it out to that far side. Wells is putting the effort in to try and get in there. And
for a throw.
I think it did go out. Did it just go out for a throw in just on the far side? But
it's opportunities like that, incidents like that, though, where you really need the quality, because Wells is away there if you play the ball properly. But defensively, they've been excellent.
Clements looks for the runner. Oh, the bounce for a moment. Looks for trouble, Angelo Constantinu. Here's Megic. Looks for the ball forward, and he's giving it away to Mabry, who gets it off of Gerbischer. Now Habtemariam. McLaughlin. Olympic need a goal, and they need one soon. Colbertaldo to Bobolis. Looking for a switch of play, but there's no real movement in the dark blue. So he goes short to Colbertaldo.
Dominici's still a long way from goal.
Here's Colbertaldo again, though, looking for Gillespie through the middle, and that's not the pass to be playing, and Durax picked that one up quite comfortably. For a first ground final at this level for the young goalkeeper, he's done exceptionally well.
Yeah, both him and Nicky Dahl, you know, the 2 more inexperienced players in the Belconnen lineup. They've more than held their own.
Here's Constantinu in the Olympic goal at the other end. McLaughlin finding a bit more space now, Tom McLaughlin. Dominici. Dahl stands him up. Habtemariam. Looks to take on Dahl.
Another player from Olympic that hasn't sort of fired today, isn't he, Jeremy?
But whilst they haven't kicked on yet, Steve, there's still that lingering doubt in the Blue Devils' minds that they could kick into gear at any stage with these boys out there, and we've seen it happen so many times before. It's never over until the final whistle, is it?
No, certainly not with the quality that Olympic have in their lineup. But at the moment, Belconnen bossing it.
Gerbischer under pressure from Gillespie. He's lost out. Goal kick.
Yeah, I think Dean Ugrinik will be just slightly concerned that the game's getting a little too spread. He'll be wanting his midfield to sort of keep linked up with their front three and then when they're defending with the back four. And at the moment, there's a lot of space in the middle of the park.
Rene wins it. McLaughlin. Look to go wide. Michael Reeves out there. Got it now. He goes at Reinhardt. It bounces off him to Cole Bataldo. And the short pass to Gillespie was easily intercepted, and away comes Jason Ugrinik. It's 4-on-3, but Ugrinik is ghosting his way forward, and there's a runner outside him, and it's Dustin Wells. Fabrizio's the only one in the middle. Ugrinik arriving now on the edge of the box. Dustin Wells up that right foot, look to sweep it towards goal, and it's Robbie Katnach who's back there to block it. The two old war horses, if you like.
2008, Belconnen won a grand final by beating Canberra FC, and Dustin Wells scored the third goal from exactly the same position.
He's looked threatening.
Yeah, he has. He's had a great game. He's had a really, really good game.
Olympic needs something. They need something soon as well. A couple more forwards on the bench that they could bring on. They brought on Michael Reeve, of course, and he's done quite well. I think I might have called him Gillespie a couple of times since he's been on.
He's probably been called worse.
Over there in the shadow of the floodlights. He's after this, and Gillespie's chasing it too. Through to Jurek.
It's just a bit aimless, that. I mean, they've got to be a little bit more constructive in possession.
You can see Jordan Sekenis behind the goal there. He's a natural goal scorer. You saw Michael John wander out of shot as well. So, two forwards. Be interesting to see what they would do if they were to bring them on there. Who would make way? Here's Wells almost getting in behind. 25 minutes to go, Steve.
And I wouldn't be surprised if, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, Dean doesn't freshen things up as well.
Reeve looking to battle his way through. Had about 3 bites of the cherry, and there's so many Belconnen defenders back there challenging with him, and he concedes a free kick, and Cam Reinhardt did so well again to stand him up. Michael Reeve, a former Belconnen player, of course.
Yeah, he is. He is. Very good futsal player as well, Michael, apparently.
Yeah, him and Carl Smith, an Olympic player, was on the cusp of the Futsal Rouge squad for the last World Cup, and both got injured, unfortunately. Olympic goalkeeper Angelo Constantino, of course, went to that tournament in Colombia. I was lucky enough to go myself. Here's Ugrinik. Goes back to Mikeski. Beaten. It's asking a little bit of Dahl, but he's done well to go back to Clements, to Gerbischer, and it's Mabry who brings it forward. Foot in by Cole Bataldo.
Just a little sloppy. Just perhaps a little bit conservative. Instead of playing forward, now we're going backwards and sideways. So this is better. Here's
Mabry. Takes on Cole Bataldo. It's got to that stage of the game where a goal either way now either kills it or brings Olympic right back into it. Mikeski, Ugrinik. Goes past his man and still going, Jason Ugrinik. It's Fabrizio, bit of space on the edge of the box. Maybe he's made an option for him. Fabrizio, though, should have used him. Didn't. Now here's Dominici, bit of chance to take on Gerbischer, and Matt Gerbischer defensively superb. Back to Durac, who happily sends that one up the other end of the park, where Fabrizio will challenge with Rene. The Olympic defender won it and found Habtemariam. Rene again. Just hoiked forward, and Gillespie will chase, as he has done for most of the game. Gerbischer's made an error there, but Beaton clears it up for him. Now Gillespie. Gerbischer's right foot hooked around his body and finds Dahl. Mikeski took his eye off the ball and maybe redeemed himself. Suddenly an injection of pace from both teams. It's Rene. Dominici, and not the greatest of touch from Stephen Dominici.
Sums up his game, Russ. He just can't get into the game at all. He's gone deep to try and get into it. He's played off shoulders, but Belconnen have wrapped him up really well.
Renee. Oh, that is not a good challenge at all from Dustin Wells, and he's going to get a yellow card for that.
And you can't complain.
Well, the only question was whether it would have been a worse sanction than that. We'll take a look at this replay. Renee was there, he pulled him back, and he's a lucky boy.
He is. Ball's already out of play.
He's a very lucky boy, Dustin Wells. He's got a yellow, and they're asking the question, Olympic, and I'm not surprised.
Yellow's enough. Yellow's enough. It was a bad tackle, but it's only a yellow.
Looking at it again, and yeah, he's right through the back of him. That left foot is very high. But he's given the decision now, and not in his nature usually, Dustin Wells.
Dusty's a funny sort of character. He's the most laid-back sort of fellow you'll ever meet. But if he does get his dander up, he can be a little bit reckless.
I'll tell you what, Dino Grinick would have had his heart in his mouth for a moment there, though.
Oh, he could have gone the other way, no doubt. But I think the referee's got that right.
Here's Dominici, looking to chase him behind. Stephen Dominici's in, but he's pushed Matt Gerbischer, and it'll be a free kick. And there's a yellow card here for Stephen Dominici. He's talked himself into this one. He raced about 15 or 20 metres to get involved in that conversation regarding the tackle, and that's a little bit afters of that, I think, as well, isn't it?
There's no doubt that there is a degree of frustration creeping into the Olympic game at the moment, and you know, if you're clutching at straws thinking that you can get a player sent off to get back in the game, then it's fairly clear that your football's not doing enough.
We're going to see Michael John, former Tuggeranong United and Gungahlin United striker.
Himself coming back from serious injury.
Yeah, let's see, very, very good player, good skills, can find you a goal. He's going to come off with Tom McLaughlin, so this is going to precipitate another shuffle for Olympic. Tommy McLaughlin, a bit quiet by his standards.
Yeah, it's not been a great year for Tommy this year. And he was quiet again today. He was quiet a couple of weeks ago when they played in the semi.
Well, John's gone forwards onto this left-hand side, so we'll have a look to see how this plays out.
I think Habta Merriam has gone into the 10 role, and Katanak's going to play a little deeper.
Try and get him on the ball a bit more in areas where he can perhaps hurt Belconnen. But Belconnen are 20 minutes away from grand final victory. Here's a chance for you, Grinick. Bit of room in the area. Fires it across goal. And all it needed was a touch from somebody coming in, and it would have been 3-0. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the last 20 minutes as Olympic look to get back into this match.
I think so. Belconnen, they're smart enough now. They'll play on the counter.
Dominici looks to turn Dahl, who's put in a huge effort today, and he's still going. Nick Dahl, and wins the ball. Got to be up there for man of the match honours, you'd think, Nick Dahl. And that's a great pass as well for you, Grinick. If he brings this down, it's a chance for Belconnen. Brilliantly saved by Constantino, and the rebound bounces off Tim Bobolas. Back to the goalkeeper. Great control from you, Grinick. A good hit as well, and fiercely struck, and well saved Constantino.
And how well did Nicky Dahl do? But that's a match-winning save, or could be a match-winning save.
Kept his team in the contest as the Futsalroos international goalkeeper Angelo Constantino. Not for the first time today. Made some good saves from Dustin Wells, remember, in the first half with a header as well.
And with the penalty.
Yeah, he's made more saves as well than at the other end, where Finn Durack has been largely underemployed in that area. Gerbischer. That'll do, I guess, at this stage of the game for him. It's not going to go out of play. If it does, it's a 40-20. Bernard Rene will take it. Colbertaldo. Back into Rene, and it's a really slack piece of defending from Olympic, and it's allowed Fabrizio the opportunity to go again. And that's asking an awful lot of Goran Mukeski. We're going to see a change from the Blue Devils. It's going to be Sam Smith.
Yeah. I think this is just to freshen things up and make sure that, certainly from a midfield point of view, on a defensive point of view, they don't get sloppy and give things away.
Constantino looks for a player in blue, but he doesn't find one in dark blue. It's Taylor Beaton who heads it back. It's broken, though, for Habta Merriam. He's got Reeve outside him. Gillespie ahead of him. He chooses Michael Reeve. He'll take on Cameron Reinhardt, clips it into the area, but there's nobody there in the Olympic shirt. And Dahl has covered that ground again superbly, and off come Belconnen with Mukeski. looking to take on Katanach, and overdid it a little bit there. Goran Makevsky, he had options. Habtemariam, Gillespie, Habtemariam again, Reeve, Andy Dominici and John in the box at the moment, swung in towards Gillespie, Beaton's back though to clear. He's giving it away to Habtemariam, real chance for Habtemariam, pulls it back for Gillespie, he misses the ball. What a chance that was for Olympic to get back into the game. I don't know why Jeremy Habtemariam didn't shoot. Here's Rene. Bernard Rene in towards the air, clipped over towards Habtemariam. Dominici pans one, but Durack is there to catch it. But what a chance there. They passed up in the penalty area.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of sloppiness that they want to avoid. This is why they'll need fresh legs. I mean, Taylor Beaton, under no pressure whatsoever, makes a terrible error, which is completely out of character for the captain of the side. But Olympic not good enough to take advantage.
Well, Habtemariam could have shot himself, but when he did choose to pull the ball back, Gillespie was right there, and it was an air swing from the youngster. I think the defender in front of him just put him off enough.
And then Dominici's follow-up shot is gratefully claimed by Finn Durack.
Anywhere else, it may have troubled the goalkeeper. That one's in towards Durack, and again, the young keeper just stretches into the night sky to pluck that ball out of the floodlights and send his team forwards up the other end. Wells challenging. His goal started the game after 31 minutes, and here's this substitution. It's Sam Smith that we're going to see in the 75th minute.
It might be Dusty Wells coming off too, but he's done great. He's had a fantastic game,
and he's going to get a rousing reception from the Belconnen supporters in this main stands. Dustin Wells' goal in the 31st minute after Jason Ugrinik squared it up for him, put Belconnen on the way to what at the moment looks like grand final success. Sam Smith.
And what Sam Smith brings to the team is a lot of energy, a lot of work. He's not a bad finisher as well, so if they can create chances for him, he's likely to pop one in.
Just going to ask you that exact question, Steve, about what he would bring. You preempted it.
I read you like a book, Russ.
It's because we've done too many of these this season. Ball's put forward towards Gillespie. He's running in behind the defence. Chance perhaps for John on the far post. In comes Michael John. Opportunity. Can't get hold of it. Perhaps should have led with the head maybe. Here's Colbertaldo. There's still time for Olympic. Rene. Lovely looking ball towards Gillespie. And he's got in and just knocks that one across the 6-yard box. And Finn Durack let that one roll between his legs and just grasped it before Jeremy Habtemariam got back there. Heart in mouth moments.
Just teasing. But Finn Durack's going long now. They've got the rewards out of that for a bad touch. But 7 or 8 Belconnen players are still well inside their own half. The chances of them retaining possession from a kick from Durack are very, very low. Well, so they just need to slow things down a bit.
I saw off the ball Matt Gerdebisch having a stretch, tiring up, and I just saw Jason Ugrinik doing the same over on the far side. So maybe there's some leaden legs out there.
Absolutely.
In Belconnen shirts.
Absolutely. And that may well be the legacy of having the week off.
Here's Habtemariam, goes down under the challenge. I'm not sure what sort of advantage that may have been from Luke Whittle, because it's gone straight back to Belconnen, much to the ire of the Canberra Olympic bench, possibly asking the same question. Here's Katanach. Bobolus wins the throw. Urgency now for the champions. Reeve, well defended again though by a combination of Clements and Cameron Reinhardt. Defensively, Belconnen have been superb. I'm struggling to recall a save that Durack's had to make.
Apart from the last one from Dominici, which is, routine. It's been relatively comfortable for him. But we're going to the last 15 minutes now, and if Olympic are going to do something, it has to be now.
Katanach swings it in, and Durack again comfortable under the high ball.
Safe as houses, the boy's been safe as houses.
It's not looked like being beaten yet.
But then, yeah.
Swings that one forward again, though. And it's
to my mind, this is not the right tactic, just lobbing it like that. It's too long before full time to actually try and shut up shop and play into corners.
They don't want to be giving the ball back to Olympic as much as they can help it. Here's Habtemariam. Dominici. An Olympic goal now, though, would give us a grandstand finale.
Yeah.
Colbertaldo. And to be honest, that's probably what this game deserves, doesn't it? It's been an excellent match. Here's Rene. Colbertaldo brought down by Beaton. This is going to be free kick to Canberra Olympic, and Taylor Beaton lucky to escape a card on that occasion.
Yeah, it was fairly cynical.
Colbertano gives it away to Ugrinik, and he looks for the runner for Fabrizio. Magic's got to be on his toes to come across. Fabrizio's there. Magic comes in, crushes him in a challenge, and he's going to get a yellow card as well. And a free kick to Belconnen in prime position. Fabrizio always had the toe on him there, Steve, and Magic put his body in to try and win the ball, but Fabrizio won it.
I mean, Magic was entitled to get front position there, but Fabrizio's pace and strength has got him in front. He gets the first touch, and Megic clatters into him.
And there's not some unsavouriness going on down here at the moment. Fabrizio's still down, and there's a bit of a contretemps between Colbertaldo and Ugrinik and pushing him away.
Yeah.
I think they think that young Fabrizio's milking this a little bit. They want him to get on with it.
It's a fairly hefty challenge.
He's entitled to stay down, I think, under that challenge, perhaps. He's getting back up. I'm sure he'll be okay. Okay, the attendance just announced over the tannoy of 1,284. Not a bad turnout. Good position this for Canberra for Belconnen United, Steve. It's
but it's a direct result of actually playing a pass that they can compete for rather than just wellying it from the keeper. And they've managed to get themselves into a position now where they might be able to create a better chance.
Well, Jason Ugrinik will fancy this, I think.
Yeah.
And Constantinu, we know how good he is. It'd have to be some free kick to get past the Olympic stopper from here.
Given the number of Belconnen shirts in the box, I think this is going to be a shot.
Well, they've got 4 up on halfway, marking Gillespie. Now, Joshua Gillespie's very, very good, but whether he warrants 4 markers at this stage.
But they might as well get tighter here.
Well, let's see what Ugrinik's going to offer us with this free kick. It's definitely within shooting range. Ugrinik whips it in, but it's going to bounce harmlessly to Constantinu. Big build-up.
For very little reward.
Bowls that one out to Magic. Olympic need to get a shift on. Reeve turns on the afterburners to try and get that, but covering across defensively was Clements again. Been very solid since he signed from Canberra FC.
Yeah, he's been a really, really fantastic asset and acquisition. Hasn't put a foot wrong, weighed in with a couple of important goals.
Well, is this the last throw of the dice for Canberra Olympic? Jordan Sekenis, another striker. He's going to come on for Joshua Gillespie, who's worked very, very hard for no rewards at the end. Sekenis, we know, is a proven goal scorer as well, but he's got 9 minutes plus stoppage time to try and get his team back into this grand final.
Just a like-for-like change, Russ, I think?
I think so. All hands to the pump it will be, I'm sure, for Belconnen, and Olympic will throw everybody into this now. Fabrizio, I think, will be the outlets for the rest of the game. It's Magic.
I think they're going to bring young Sam Whittier on, and he's a lad that can play either in midfield or up front, and he, again, like Smith, provides a lot of energy and enthusiasm.
Or maybe it will be Fabrizio who comes off for Whittier.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Ugrinik was taken.
Here's Habtemariam, looking to get Olympic back into it. Katnach. Reeve turns it around the corner. Habtemariam was in there too, but great defending again by Cam Reinhardt. I think I've said that so many times this afternoon. One of the most underrated players in the Canberra Premier League.
Over the last 10 years, he has been so consistent for Belconnen.
So it is going to be Jason Ugrinik. Good call there, Steve.
This is going into the last few minutes of the game. This is Belconnen sort of saying 2-0 will do. We're just going to shut up shop. Jason's done well.
Sam Whittier played in the under-20s grand final earlier today, got himself a winner's medal. Was dragged off after an hour.
Yeah,
with this in mind.
Yes, yeah.
This is exactly why he was pulled off in that game, to do exactly this for the last 10 minutes in a situation which Dean Ugrinik would have been dreaming of last night.
And strangely enough, in the 20 semi-final where they were beaten in the qualifying final, he played in goals.
Oh, there you go. Multi-talented. Meanwhile, that corner saw Finn Durack get fouled. Belconnen happy to just waste a few minutes. The keeper's laying down. I'm sure. Here's a replay of it. It came in. He was clattered by Daniel Colbertaldo, I think it was, just backing into him on the goal line. Maybe, or was it Tim Bobulus? It might have been Tim Bobulus. Yeah.
desperation.
Either way, it's a free kick, and I'm sure Finjurak doesn't need, at this stage, any second invitation to stay down, does he?
No.
I'm sure he's not that badly hurt, and he's just...
no, he's just slowing the game down.
Slowing the game down, that's the phrase I was looking for. And he's entitled to have a bit of a rest because he's been outstanding.
Yes, in fact, and you know, if the scoreline does stay as it is and Belconnen run out winners, I don't think too many people could have complained about it. Belconnen, apart from the opening exchanges, have looked the better side.
Well, there is I think the Valeri medal is presented for the player of the match in this competition, isn't it? And you'd think he'd be up there, and Nick Dahl as well, as a youngster, has been outstanding. He's surely got to be up with the opportunity to claim that medal, depending on, of course, who's making these decisions.
Yeah, and number 12, Fabrizio, is another one that will be well in the running for that award.
Here's Dominici. Well, we mentioned his knack of scoring late goals against Belconnen at the top of the broadcast, and he needs to do it now because they've got less than 6 minutes to go. Here's Colbertaldo looking for Reeve. Catenacci turning, spraying the ball forward, which Beaton easily intercepts, and Dahl prods it into the path of Fabrizio, and he starts the counter-attack. The ball over the top is looking for Whittier in, and saved by the feet of Constantino. It's broken for Fabrizio on the edge of the area. What a chance that was for Sam Whittier. He's only been on the field for a couple of moments. And he got in, and he got enough of the shot, but once again he fired it too straight.
But once again, Angelo Constantino keeps his team in the contest. And the follow-up, of course, felt very tired, Daniel Fabrizio, and he was unable to take advantage.
Surprised he didn't shoot rather than take the touch. Here's Colbertaldo battling in midfield. Haptamariam is thundered into by Isaac Clements. Frank Keisha not happy again with that challenge. Here's Catenacci. The run is from Sekenis. He's got in between the two defenders. Jordan Sekenis still going. Got away from the mark, and first off, he's very much outnumbered on the edge of the box. He's going to win his side a free kick. Taylor Beaton not happy now. But to be fair, that was a great piece of play from Jordan Sekenis to get between the two defenders and use his strength. Here it is, Steve, again, and there's the free kick. It's a little bit of a niggle at his ankles there from Taylor Beaton.
Might be a bit soft, but it's make or break time now for Olympic.
Well, free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. Robbie Catenacci has got the ball tucked under his arm. I've seen him score free kicks in grand finals on the edge of the area penalty before. On those occasions, it was to skid his team into the game. This one will give them a lifeline. He needs to get this on target. He needs to test Finjurak. We've got 4 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Belconnen lead 2-0.
Yeah, nervous times for Belconnen. I mean, this is where Olympic are expert and can get themselves back in the game through this sort of set piece.
Dominici's behind the ball as well. I'd be surprised if it's anybody but Catenacci, though. Luke Withall marches the wall back 10 yards.
Might be worthwhile sticking somebody on a post here for Belconnen.
Here's Robbie Catenacci, swings it straight into the wall. It breaks for Colbertaldo, who pings it back in, and it's well blocked again by Matt Gerbisher, who gets the hugs from his teammates, not once but twice. Colossal defending at this stage of the game from Gerbisher.
Body's on the line time, isn't it? And Matty Gerbisher stood up.
As he has done many times in the past, both in Blue Devils colours and Canberra FC colours as well. Reinhardt just punts that one forward. Come to Megic. He looks for a run out on this side. Maybe he's going to win that, though. Heads it down towards the bench where the Belconnen substitutes are sitting. Rene, time is against them at the moment.
We're slipping into anywhere will do time for Belconnen if they can get possession. They'll be.
Megic gives it away to Beaton, and now here's Fabrizio. Goes into Megic, who's already been booked, and he's going to walk. Nathan Megic, a second yellow card. And that's possibly the final nail in the coffin for Canberra Olympic. Got an element of sympathy for him on that occasion, to be fair. Be interested to see the replay again, but it looked like a clash of bodies. Fabrizio got there first, and it was just one of those unfortunate ones. He's already been booked. Let's see, here we go. He gets there first, and a clash of bodies. I think a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, but he's asked the referee to make a decision, and the referee, who hasn't got much wrong tonight, is probably well within his rights to give the second yellow card.
It's a strange one, though, Steve, isn't it? Because if it's the other way around and he gets there first, I doubt there is a yellow card for
possibly,
Fabrizio.
Yeah, possibly.
But it's one of those decisions that when the game's going against you, it's going against you, and it's gone against Olympic from the start today, and Belconnen United have been very, very worthwhile of their 2-0 lead. They've missed a penalty, Dustin Wells has missed a chance, Sam Whittier's missed a chance, Jason Ugrinnick's missed a chance. They've had the best opportunities of the game, and I don't think there can be much qualms from the Canberra Olympic camps about how they've gone this afternoon.
No, they'll obviously be disappointed with the result. I mean, we're not done yet, but they'll be disappointed with the result, but if they're being fair, they'll put their hands up and say the better team has come out on top.
Well, they've still got a couple of minutes plus stoppage time. There's still a chance.
Dominici time now, isn't it?
Reinhardt clips that one down towards the corner where Smith, is that Smith or Whittier?
Whittier.
It's Whittier
Yeah.
getting after it in his shadows over there on the far side. He's lost it out to Bobolas and slides in to make the tackle. Ball's out of play. Eats up a few more seconds as far as Belconnen are concerned. Dominici, far away from where he needs to be. Fabrizio looks to slide it through, but it's come off his toe, and it's Rene to Michael John. Hasn't really got involved since he's come on yet. It's the first time we've really seen him, and he's given the ball away in his attempts to try and spread the play to Reeve. And Cam Reinhardt's just belted that down the pitch and asked Whittier to get after it again. Bobolas has gone across, wants to keep it in play and does.
A little bit sloppy, a little bit lazy from the Belconnen midfield there. You know, Whittier's made a big run and nobody's backed him up.
Maybe he slid in, but Katnach saw him coming and just takes the ball away, puts Sekenis into the channels. His pace is causing problems since he's come on. Twisting and turning, looking to get away from Clements and win his team a throw-in.
Not been too much gone past Gerbisher and Clements tonight. Sekenis' movement has been very, very good since he's come on, and he has made a difference.
We're in the final minute of the match. We've got stoppage time, of course. We're not sure how much that will be. I'm sure we'll get some notification maybe. Here's Katnach clipping it towards the far post. It's headed in the air by Reinhardt. Reeve is under it. Bounces around. It's going to fall for Dominici in the penalty area. It's not happened very often today. Dominici turns, pulls it back for Michael John. Can't get there. Game on! John Sekenis pulls one back with 10 seconds of time to go now. How long have we got left? Poacher's goal from John Sekenis. And this one's back in the knife edge.
This will make the Belconnen bench very nervous. We'd said not long ago it's Dominici time, and he's done extremely well to get the ball to the byline and cut it back. Sekenis, who we've just finished talking about and saying how well he's done, has brought them well back into this game. So it's now all hands to the pump.
But it's a question of how long we're going to get. We haven't got a board here from the fourth official, so we don't know. So everyone in the ground is in the same position we are, Steve. We're into stoppage time. It's 2-1. Mabry's got it. Will he hold it in the corner, or will he try and swing it into the box? He swings it in. Coming in on the far post is Whittier. Brings it down. Fabrizio tries to chip it over the top, and they're giving it away, and they perhaps should have kept hold of it there. Here's Reeve. So good turn, but it's out of play, and that's what Belconnen wants. Frank Keisha is screaming at Angelo Constantia to smash it down the field for Stephen Dominici. We've had a minute of time added on. Can't imagine we'll have much more than 3 or 4.
Depends if Fabrizio was down for a while, and then Durak's been down. There's been a number of substitutions, so and Luke Withell might not have anything to do.
And there's a yellow card for Cam Reinhardt.
Ironic that the goal that brings them back into the game comes when they're down to 10.
Yes, amazing, isn't it? It's happened sometimes, and that's a ball looking for Dominici. He's going after it. Mabry's come across to try and win it. I think that's come off the back of the Olympic striker. And the throw-in is to Belconnen. Belconnen Olympics fans not happy with that, but I think the replay may suggest it did come off the back of Stephen Dominici.
This is going long.
Certainly is from Gerbisher, just throws it as far as he can. Rene takes a touch, goes square to Bobolas. Luke Withell looks at the watch. Bobolas smashes it forward, looking for Michael John, who challenges Gerbisher, who wins the ball in the air. It's going to fall for Dominici. Mabry goes into his challenge, and the ball is where Belconnen wants it. But it's in Olympic possession. Cole Bataldo to Bobolas. 2 minutes of stoppage time gone. Bobolas swings that one forward. It's Gerbisher who just lets it run through. Excellent defending from the experienced Matt Gerbisher, and Finn Durak will no doubt send this one into the night sky, far away as he can from the Belconnen goal. But it's been trapped by Rene on the halfway line. Clips it out wide, and Reeve will bring it under control and take on Reinhardt. Perhaps the last chance as Reeve goes past his man. Crossing opportunity into the penalty area. John's in there to win the header, but he heads it the wrong way and it's hooked away. Nervy times for Belconnen. Rene sends it back again. Beaton wins it. Back out to Reeve. Looks to take on his man again. Off he goes. But that pass is intercepted, and Cameron Reinhardt just smashes it down the field again. And
yeah, anywhere will do. Anywhere will do. I don't think Belconnen are going to be rushing to get into the other half here.
We've had 93 minutes. I think I just saw Luke Whittle say one more. So we'll see. Constantinou, left-footed, pings it forward, looking for Dominici. It bounces. It's going to break all the way through to Durac, who clutches it to his chest and then thumps the ball, gives it away again. Maybe we could have wasted a few more seconds there. Whittier finds Fabrizio. Bobolas goes across. It's going to break for Whittier again, and he just sends it down towards the corner, and I don't think they'll worry about that too much. It's going to be a substitution here. Dinu Grinick's trying to get Adam Glazer on. He played in the under-20s as well at right back. He just wants to waste a few more minutes, I think. It'll be whoever's farthest away, I think. It's going to be Daniel Fabrizio. He'll trundle off, but that's going to give us a few more minutes.
Well, at least another 30 seconds.
Or longer, depends how long it's going to take to get off, Steve. Not the most popular of players, Daniel Fabrizio, with the Olympic faithful, is he?
No, but
he's worked he's done superbly. I was going to say he's worked so hard today. Set the tone for the match, really, with his the start to the game in the first 20 minutes or so, in which he gave Adrian Maker a torrid time.
He's getting a well-deserved round of applause.
Adam Glazer, I'm sure when he came over from America at the start of the season, he possibly didn't think he'd be playing a grand final.
He's played in two now. Yeah,
could get himself 2 winners' medals. Here's Mabry. John's chasing. Mabry sees it out. Throw into Belco. We played 94 and a half minutes.
In the last knockings of a great grand final, Russ.
Matt Gerbish is coming off. We are in the death throes of it right now. Gerbish throws it long. Rene wins it. Good pressure by Smith. Thumped forward. Half a chance for Kadnach, maybe. He's got it on the edge of the area. Kadnach has a man out wide if he can get it to Reeve. Still battling away, and Gerbish comes in, smashes it away, and the final whistle goes. The Blue Devils bench empties. Belconnen United, against the odds, you'd think, and against the favourites, a team that have won everything that's been put before them in Canberra football. Belconnen United 2, Canberra Olympic 1. Steve, great final.
Absolutely tremendous game. The best team, I think, on the night have actually come out on top. They failed to take the chances early on, but then 2 goals in the first half saw them go into the break well on top. And although they had some nervous moments towards the end, they've seen it out and they go away worthy winners.
Yeah, there's been some interesting football throughout the whole game. I think it's been a game that was, as I said, the tone was set early on. Belconnen started brightly, well, Olympic started brightly in the first 5 minutes, but as soon as they identified that Fabrizio was on his game and was taking on Maker, the whole game took on a whole new complexion. It
did, and Belconnen will be really pleased that they've carried out their game plan to such a fantastic extent. The outball to Fabrizio in the first half, even after the tactical change, meant that they could actually stay in the ascendancy. Ultimately, the first goal comes from the left-hand side, Belconnen's left, but it was down the right that they got most joy.
I was chatting to Dinu Grinick before kick-off, and he was telling me about the grand final he was in charge of against when Canberra Olympic played Canberra FC at Deakin Stadium. I called that game, which finished 8-5. That had everything. It had 13 goals, it had a missed penalty, it had a red card, and had a streaker. We haven't had 13 goals today, but we had 3 goals, a missed penalty, and a red card. No streaker yet.
No, and don't be looking at me.
It's a bit cold.
It's a bit cold for me.
But in its own way, another absolute cracking final.
It's been a great game. I mean, the first half probably shaded the second in terms of sheer quality and the openness of the game. It surprised probably all of us, but the game was really worth watching. I mean, the neutral spectator will have had a ball tonight. Congratulations to Belconnen, commiserations to Olympic. They've been the benchmark for the last 2 or 3 seasons, but maybe there's just a shift in emphasis now towards one of the other traditionally strong clubs in the competition.
I don't know if it was a premonition, but the official match programme for today had a picture of Dustin Wells on it, eyeing up a ball, and looking like he was in the mood, and he certainly was in the mood when it came to it. And he opened the scoring for us after half an hour, getting on the end of a Jason Ugrinnik cutback, and that was a good response for Ugrinnik as well, considering he missed the penalty.
Absolutely. I mean, he could well have dropped his head, but he took advantage of a slight mistake in the Olympic back four. Got him behind Adrian Makor, who by that time had shifted to a more central position, and he's made the right decision to pick out Dustin Wells, whose finish was quite emphatic.
After scoring the first goal, Wells created the second. It was his free kick that caused Angelo Constantinou to think that he should come off his line, and he came a long way and he didn't get there, and when that happens there's always problems. And Nick Dahl, who had an outstanding match, won the ball in the air and nodded it into the empty goal, and from that moment on it was really playing catch up for Olympic. Especially with the timing of the second goal just before half time. I mean, the whole half time talk from Frank Keisha had to change from being 1-0 down to 2-0 down. He has to be a little bit more adventurous. He's got to throw players forward. They've obviously suffered the disruptions in the pre-game, but in the end, they've got a squad that's very deep, and the players that they brought in are more than capable of handling the pressure of a grand final. But they were outplayed today, and they've just got to put their hands up and accept it. Dustin Wells went close again in the first half with a header which Angelo Constantinou saved, and then there was another opportunity which Constantinou saved as well. Nick Dahl has just been named the Valeri Medal Man of the Match. Not really going to argue with that, are you?
No, you can't. I mean, it's. I think the younger players from Belconnen have shown the way today. I mean, the senior players really stood up. The Reinhardts, the Beatons, the Wells, but the Dahls, the Fabricios, the Jureks have all done a great job as well, and it's a fantastic achievement for a player in his breakout season.
As Olympic came looking for a goal in the second half, opportunities opened up, of course, for Belconnen, and Angelo Constantinou was alive to save efforts from Dustin Wells, Jason Ugrinnik, and of course Sam Whittier, when he came on there, had a great opportunity to seal it, and his shot was saved. It really kept them in the game, didn't he, the big keeper? He
did. I mean, he made up for the error for the second goal by keeping them in the game in the second half. I mean, he saved a penalty as well. I mean, you can't take too much away from Angelo. He's put in his usual honest performance. The second goal has hurt them, and he'll have to put his hands up and take some responsibility for that. But in the second half, as you say, as Belconnen caught them on the counter and created chances, Angelo stood between Belconnen and a bigger score.
We lost Nathan Medjic to a second yellow card in possibly harsh circumstances. And then, of course, Stephen Dominici, for the first time in the game, got into the penalty area where he's dangerous, twisted and turned, cut the ball back. And John Sekenis, who was lively when he came on, got us a goal, but that goal needed to come 5 or 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously made the bench from Belconnen nervous, but it was too close to the end to really make that much difference. Dominici's impact in the game was limited to, or just about limited to that particular assist. Sekenis, you're quite right, did well when he came on, and he's taken his goal well. And it's once again one of the younger players in the Olympic squad that has actually brought them back into the game, and it's been a night for youth.
We're seeing Canberra Olympic get their runners-up medals at the moment. This isn't an experience that they've had much of over the last few years. I was talking to Frank Copley after the Federation Cup final, asking him how he keeps his team motivated. Losing this grand final here is motivation enough for most of them to be kicking on next season and try and repeat what they've done this year and go one step further and reclaim the treble.
Well, certainly they'll be doing everything. They won't leave any stone unturned to make sure that the squad's strengthened if it needs to be. They've got a very deep squad, and a lot of decent players have had seasons where they've been coming off the bench on a regular basis, and the fact that they've lost may see some of them now move on and try the luck elsewhere, but that doesn't mean to say that Olympic will become any less competitive next year.
Well, Frank Keisha and his coaching team of Matt Keisha and Nick Paliagi have been absolutely fantastic over the last few years in Canberra. They're going to get their medals down there at the moment from Richard Nomoski and the presentation party, and they can be pretty proud of what they've achieved over the last few years.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, 8 out of 9 trophies is not a bad return. And they've been the benchmark. Not only have they got those trophies in the cabinet over the last few years, they've done Canberra proud in the FFA Cup. I mean, it'll be a long time before we see another team from Canberra in the semi-final of the National Cup competition. So all credit to them. They're a fantastic team. They've been well coached. They're a great bunch of lads. But tonight, it was Belconnen's night.
Well, the run had to come to an end at some stage. It's come to an end tonight, and it's come to an end at the hands of this Belconnen United team that we're seeing on your screens at the moment. A team that, at the start of the season, it's fair to say, were written off by most people, and even their coach, Dean Ugrinnik, we mentioned it during the broadcast, wasn't convinced that his side were going to be challenging. He's managed to mix together a real blend of youth and experience here, and he's got for every Daniel Fabrizio and Nick Dahl, he's got a Taylor Beaton and a Cam Reinhardt, and those guys have helped each other move along. And I think the injection of that youth has really given those older guys a push.
Absolutely. I mean, the recruitment of Isaac Clements, the inclusion of Daniel Fabrizio, you know, not to mention people like Leo Marzes and Harry Williams that came out of the 20s and played on a regular basis with the first grade. It was the sort of youthful enthusiasm that a tired squad, or a squad that was looking a little tired, needed, and they've certainly reaped the rewards, culminating in a semi-final win and now a grand final win up against the same opposition as tonight.
Yeah, they certainly proved their worth over the course of the season. Captain Taylor Beaton is just addressing the crowd at the moment. He's going to introduce his boys. Just wanted to mention again the Valeri medal winner, Nick Dahl, would have been one of the youngest Valeri medal winners for a long time, and he certainly didn't look out of place out there, did he? He's big and he's strong and he can play the ball and he's comfortable in possession. You think he can go on from here?
Yes, I do. I think he's got a big future. I mean, it may well be that he's limited to the local NPL. I'm not sure that he's going to push on and play at a greater level than this. But in terms of the future for Belconnen, he's the sort of player that they need to be building the team around. He's not only has he bossed midfield, he's won tackles, he's won headers, he's actually come up with the winning goal at the end of the day.
Taylor Beaton has played in that defensive midfield role for Belconnen for a number of years, and you know he's going to be pushing towards the end of his career at the moment. And if Dahl doesn't push on to anywhere greater heights than this, it's a ready-made replacement near enough, isn't it, to sit in and screen that back four?
Yeah. Taylor's got a few years left in him yet, and I can see them two forming a defensive midfield partnership for the next 3 or 4 years if Taylor chooses to play on. I mean, he's still the right side of 30, Taylor. He got engaged, I think, this year, so he's obviously his priorities will shift. But he's been a magnificent serve, and Nicky Dahl has benefited from playing alongside somebody with the qualities and experience of Taylor. And again, he showed it tonight. Taylor Beaton was outstanding as well.
Young Finn Durack as well. Very impressed with his reading of the game, his perception of where the ball's going to go, his sweeping behind the defence to come out and you know, nullify any real attacks before they got in. It's a ball that Olympic like to play, that little ball over the top. We've seen it before, but he read it superbly. Yeah,
it's obviously something that Dean's picked up. He's kept his back four high, and I mean, Olympic weren't good enough tonight to actually take advantage of the spaces in behind the back four. Passes were overhit, but where they were a chance, Durack has come out of his box, swept like a good keeper does, and in terms of making his clearances, didn't miss hit one.
Well, thanks very much for your company, Steve. It's been a pleasure talking with you this season. I'm sure we might catch up next week for the Edgeworth Eagles game.
That'd be great.
We're going to just stay and watch the trophy being lifted as the Belconnen coaching staff get their medals.
And it's 3 from 3 today.
And 3 from 3, of course. Under 18s champions, under 20s champions. And now on the back of goals from Dustin Wells and Nick Dahl, Belconnen United will lift the trophy for grand final champions in Canberra. Taylor Beaton and his team thoroughly deserve it. Here it goes, the moment that they've been waiting for. Taylor Beaton lifts the trophy sky high. I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast and our coverage of PS4 NPL this evening. As I said, thanks, Steve. Just to recap, a missed penalty from Jason Ugrinic after 17 minutes, brilliantly saved by Angelo Constantinu. Looked to keep the game in the balance, but 2 goals in the first half. Justin Wells just past the half-hour mark, followed by a Nick Dahl header 2 minutes into stoppage time, proved crucial. A late response from Jordan Sekenis from Canberra Olympic wasn't enough. Belconnen have stopped Olympic's three-peat. The champions of the PS4 NPL in Canberra, Belconnen United. It's finished Belconnen United 2, Canberra Olympic 1.